and welcome to Across the Omniverse, a podcast brought to you by Cinema Sangha. My name is Devin Faraci. I am one of the hosts of the program. Joining me, as he traditionally does,
my name is Derek Faraci, and the Signal S can do no harm. How are you, Devin?
I am okay. It is hot today. It is. Oh, that was me. Usually Derek's the one opening a can before the.
You're starting off with the two things I hate the most.
But I forgot that I had to drink my Celsius because I'm so tired because of fucking daylight savings time, and so I need to drink this Celsius to get me going through the next 6 hours of this podcast recording. How you doing on the daylight savings time?
I'm fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's tough with the cat because the cat doesn't know the time changed.
Sure.
So it's like a whole thing. He's a real jerk. And this is my least favorite one. I know people are like, oh, we got an extra hour of sunlight, but I don't care. I don't go outside. Who cares? I want an extra hour of sleep. That's what I want. I would like them to keep moving it back every month so that it just keeps getting a new
At one point it's 1 p.m. and you're like, why is it so dark out? I like that every year people complain and like, we should do away with it. They did away with it in like the 70s and it did not go well. So that's why they brought it back.
Yeah, because kids were waiting at the bus stop in the total darkness in the morning.
And it also, like, there was a rise in suicides.
I mean,
because in the winter it was darker, or much even earlier than it gets.
Trigger warning: suicides. We're going to be talking about suicide on this episode of V: The Final Battle too.
Yeah, dose.
So we got a lot of heavy stuff ahead of us. Do we have any?
Who knew watching a 1980s science fiction miniseries would have us discussing abortion and suicide?
Do we have any news this week?
We do. Yeah. Game of Thrones movies in the works at Warner Brothers from Bo Williman, who wrote Andor.
He wrote on Andor.
On Andor, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't write every single episode.
Who knows?
So we don't know what they're doing for this movie. My guess, if I had to guess, like what movie are they going to make for Game of Thrones, is Aegon the Conqueror, which is Aegon the Conqueror is the guy who brought the dragons to Westeros and conquered the Seven Kingdoms and the first Targaryen, and that's like a big story, Yeah. And that feels like, because he's bringing like a bunch of dragons over, that feels like a movie to me more than some of the other Game of Thrones stuff. So
there you go.
I mean, I think people would like that, like a trailer that's just fucking full of dragons.
You know what I think they should do?
What?
Is cut down the show Game of Thrones. How many seasons was it? 6? Whatever?
It was like 7 or 8.
All right, cut it down to about 90 minutes. And then make it into like The Princess Bride. So you have like a little sick kid and his grandfather telling about Game of Thrones. And you can just skip over like a lot of the stuff where it's like, none of this actually added up to anything. We can just move past this and, get it done in 90 minutes. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's definitely an idea in that. Yeah, there's definitely an idea in that. Yeah. But I think it's going to be Aegon the Conqueror. I would like that very much. I want them to go back farther in time in Game of Thrones. I want them to really go back. Like, what I would love is the heroic age, like before the dragons came. Like, it's like the era when Westeros was like high fantasy. I would love that. So, like they had all the fantasy shit going on, magic and all that. So,
yeah.
Anyway,
is there stuff in the future of Game of Thrones? Like
no, there's nothing. We don't know what happens post the end of.
Like, do they get cars?
We don't know. They might. I mean, that wouldn't be the first time there's been a fantasy world where they advanced it up to like the Industrial Revolution and stuff like that.
That's like there's what's the role playing game that's that? Where it's like elves and orcs and stuff. But
there's
it's
also like Shadow. Oh my god! I used to play this. Oh man! Now I have to look this up.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right? Like I'm not crazy.
Shadow something.
I don't know. While you're looking that up, I watched Nuremberg this weekend.
Yeah?
Yeah. weirdly funnier than I expected on purpose. On purpose. Like there's jokes in it that are like really funny. And I was shocked. I was very
Shadow
surprised.
Run. Shadow Run
Yeah, there you go.
is the name of it. I knew it was Shadow something. Yeah.
Shadow Stevens.
He spelled his name with an E.
Yes.
We're very weird. So Nuremberg, happy ending?
No.
Really? I know
Not
how that.
really.
I know how that story ends.
Do you?
They hang the guys.
Yeah, but the guy that the movie is about, do you know what happens to him?
Who was the movie about?
It's about the psychiatrist that they brought in.
Oh, he probably killed himself or something, right?
Yeah, he goes home and commits suicide.
Thanks for the spoilers.
It's a true fucking story. I don't know what to tell you. You know, I can't help you out there. They did cut out he killed himself like a decade later. And he consistently throughout his, like after coming home, consistently, like he became an alcoholic from everything that happened. And he would constantly tell his family, like, I'm going to kill myself. And they were like, yeah, okay, whatever. And they didn't believe him. And then on like New Year's, I think it was on New Year's Eve. They don't go this into the movie. This I had read in a book. I think it was on New Year's Eve. He was making dinner for his family. He burnt himself. He's like, I'm done. I'm going to kill myself. I'm like, sure you are. And then he took out a cyanide capsule and took it. And like, oh
Holy
shit.
mackerel.
Yeah.
Holy macaroni. That's crazy.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
You know who's in danger of self-harm right now?
Who?
I think Ray Park.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he's having another meltdown on Instagram. He has meltdowns on Instagram with some regularity. He's not okay. But he is having... I watched a video that he made, and it's very disturbing.
That's upsetting.
So, I mean, yeah, Ray Park did do revenge porn of his wife on his Instagram.
You can't do that.
No, it's very bad. So it is too bad. Any person should suffer like this is too bad, but he's got a lot going on, Mr. Ray Park. Boy, we're really all over the place this episode already.
Yeah.
Shadow Stevens to Ray Park to Shadowrun.
Yeah.
To the Nuremberg trials.
I'm going to say that Shadow Stevens put an E at the end of his name so he could trademark it.
Probably. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Guess.
Yeah.
That's my theory. Anyway, yeah, Game of Thrones movie in the works. We got the trailer for the final season of The Boys. So that's exciting.
I watched it, and man, you know what? So The Boys has really been like tracking our descent into fascism. But it's always like they're making it one step ahead of where we are, and then it keeps coming out kind of where we are. And I'm watching it, and fucking Homelander and Soldier Boy standing off in the middle of a snowy street. I'm like, oh my God, it's Minneapolis. Yeah. Like, I'm sure it's not supposed to be Minneapolis, but like that just is Minneapolis imagery to me, you know. And Homelander in the Oval Office. Yeah. No, it's definitely. And then also the relocation camps. Yeah. So it's deeply disturbing.
It's very upsetting.
Yeah. But I'm glad it's ending, and it's going to have to end on some kind of a positive note. So,
in theory.
Well, you know, it has to. There's no way they wouldn't. Like, you have to kill Homelander at the end.
Sure, but they've also said that there's going to be, like, sequel series, so we know it's not going to be like, Vought is gone. Like, it's going to be, you know, just moving on to the next problem, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, obviously the thing here is that, what's his name's trying to kill all the Supes, and that's either not going to work, or it is going to work, and the virus that they release is going to turn other people into Supes. Do you know what I mean? Like, that are not related to Vought. So, because it is a little too related to that one company, frankly.
It would be funny if the show ended and they released the virus and it killed everyone with superpowers, and then it was only normal humans left, and the spin-off shows are all just like office sitcoms. Like, that'd be so weird. You know, it's like Frenchie gets a job at like a deli, and that's what it's about.
I really need Frenchie to die.
Yeah?
I desperately need Frenchie to die. Yeah, that's a character who should have died a couple of seasons ago.
Sure.
And I don't really understand why he's still around. And he's got to go. He's got to go, Frenchie. There's no question in my mind about that.
Well, we'll see.
Who else do you think should die on that show?
Um,
All the bad
I mean,
suits.
yeah, obviously the bad soups. I guess yeah, Frenchie.
A-Train
Billy.
probably.
Billy. A-Train, it's going to depend on what. I don't know about A-Train because A-Train is on a redemption arc.
Yeah, but the redemption might be that he dies saving Yui.
It's very possible. Or
He dies saving, what's her name?
Starlight.
Starlight.
Yeah.
Since he killed Yui's girlfriend previously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that could be his redemption arc.
The Deep has to die. Obviously.
I bet the Deep doesn't die.
You don't think so?
No, I could see the Deep. He's so pathetic. I could see the Deep making it and like trying to be like, I always hated those guys. Like I could totally see that. That makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, I kind of hope he doesn't because I kind of love the Deep. He's like one of my favorite characters in that show.
Oh, he's one of the best characters on the show, but he's a horrific person.
Oh, he's a horrible human being, but like he's such a great character, you know?
Yeah. What if that's the spinoff? It's somehow the Deep survives when they release the thing, and then he's got he opens up like a coffee shop.
Yeah, that could be it. That could definitely be it.
That'd be fun.
Carl Urban has to die.
Yeah. Billy Butcher has to die.
Yeah, definitely has to. He probably dies with Homelander. Mutually assured destruction.
Yeah, I guess probably. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, do they go? That's like those are kind of the easy.
It depends on how close they stick to what happens at the end of the comic, right?
Well, they're not going to.
But I'm saying
Tech Noir in the comic ended up being a clone of Homelander.
Yes, yeah.
And then he killed Homelander. So like,
but I'm saying how the comic ended.
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay. Well.
Anyway, you know what? I'm excited for it. I enjoyed that program. Although I did bounce off of Gen V season 2.
Yeah, Gen V season 2 was not good. Was not good at all.
Could not. I made it 3 episodes in.
I give them an asterisk on it, being that
one of the
main characters tragically passed away, and the whole season is trying to work around that problem. So I do give them an asterisk for that, but it was not a good season.
Yeah. All right, what else we got?
We got our trailer for Lanterns, the Green Lantern show.
All right, I know you really hated this, so go ahead.
I didn't hate it. Everything that has nothing to do with the Lanterns looked really good. But the Green Lantern stuff looks terrible.
Yeah.
You know, like the suit is more brown than green.
I don't think it is. I think it's the color correction.
I don't know how that helps.
But I'm saying I think the suit, like if you were to see it in person, is probably green.
Okay, but if they color correct it to be brown, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't matter what it looked like on set if on screen it looks different, right?
But that might mean that like there's going to be like a moment in the show when the green really pops.
Maybe.
Do you know what I mean? Like where like it's really going to like fucking be green.
Sure, maybe.
So it's interesting. People online got really hung up on one line from the trailer.
That there's no other. He doesn't talk to anyone from the Corps.
He says, I'm the only human.
Yes.
And people got really hung up on that. And it really is like one of those things where it's like, well, either just wait and watch the show. We know that Guy Gardner's on the show. Like, I mean, like, clearly this is going to be in some way addressed. Or just even recognize the idea that Guy Gardner probably isn't a Green Lantern anymore.
That's my theory, is that Guy Gardner, there's 2 possibilities as I see it. One, Guy Gardner working with on the Justice Gang or whatever. Because of that, he is fired. Because Green Lanterns are not, you take an oath, and part of your oath, in theory, is you can't go get another job. Like you can't.
There's no moonlighting as a Green Lantern.
Yeah, you can't be a bouncer as well, right? Like that kind of deal would be my thought process.
Yeah.
Or the series begins with him getting hit by a bus. Either way, I think Guy Gardner somehow loses his Green Lantern status, and that is where Jon Stewart comes in to be trained. That's my theory.
Yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense. My one problem with the trailer is like, so Hal Jordan, do you like to say the word fuck? Let me ask you.
Like a 2.5 minute trailer, they could not fit fuck in there more often. It's like
it's crazy for a trailer. That's like nuts. Like you're really trying to make everybody know this is adult. Like you're really working very hard in this trailer.
Yeah, The whole thing gave off that feeling to me, and I don't doubt that the story's going to be good, that the acting's going to be good, all that stuff. But the whole thing gave off that feeling of like, oh, people think superheroes are goofy, so let's hide that aspect of it, and also let's show people that this is edgy and cool because they're going to say fuck a bunch, and it's like, are we not past this? Like, can we not just see cool Green Lantern stuff in the trailer? And like, I don't see the point in trying to hide what they are. It doesn't make sense to me,
Well, I'm going to talk about this on the air. I've never talked about this on the air, but I'm going to do it now. And I've told you this, which is that there has been some issues with management, not James Gunn, but with management who were trying to cut some costs on this particular program. And when somebody in the executive suite discovered that a Green Lantern ring could make like anything of any color if you really wanted to, they were like, well then, like if Hal's making a mug of coffee, does it have to be a green CGI mug, or can it just be a regular mug that he just picks up and drinks out of? And I know the showrunner's like, well, I mean, like the whole thing is like this. And then Warner Brothers was like, well, but like we're going to save a lot of money if we're not constantly making CGI pens and shit like that. So you know what? I am kind of curious how that plays out in the actual show.
Did anyone there in that meeting be like, well, it could be a green mug, right? Like, green mug is in the real world. Like,
it might be a green mug, yeah. But like, I think that like, yeah. But I don't know.
I don't need everything to glow. Like the easiest answer to that, and it's covered in the comics as well, is fucking street clothes are often made from the ring. So like, yeah, it doesn't need to glow green. He can do different colors. Like, that's not an issue. I don't have an issue with that. I have an issue with like the Green Lantern suit is not really green. That's kind of goofy to me. Like I don't understand that purpose. I'm not huge on the ring having gold on it.
Yeah, I don't love that. I kind of don't. That's like really weird to me. I don't understand that. I understand they want to make it look like it's clearly metal and stuff. Like I get that.
Yes.
Like otherwise it's going to read like junk if it's just
and all green would not look good. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, the gold of it is pretty weird. I would think silver is the correct color for that.
Silver, or like, even like the suit has like a bronze look to it. Go with like a bronze on the ring. That would look fine. But like gold specifically is the color that Green Lanterns don't do so good with.
Yeah.
Yellow, which there is the whole thing of like the stronger your willpower, the more experience you have, the less the yellow affects you. So I don't mind if Hal Jordan is not affected by yellow. That's fine. Like only newbies are fine. That's totally cool. But like, it shouldn't be on the ring, I would think, unless they're trying to hint towards a parallax thing and be like, oh, look, his ring is infected already.
Or no, what if the thing is, because the yellow impurity is built into the ring, right?
Yes.
What if that's just a visualization of the yellow impurity? Which is what makes them vulnerable against yellow. Because that, again, I don't know they're going to actually have that, because that remains one of the stupidest fucking things in all of comics. That the color, no, you can't. There's no way you can make a television program in the year 2026 and your hero is defeated by a rubber chicken because it's yellow. Like, you just cannot do that.
Or that bit where Batman covers himself and Robin in yellow paint and tricks Green Lantern to walk into a yellow room and they just beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, it's like, really? You can't do that. You can't do that. So that's like a terrific idea for the Silver Age. But like, I think in the modern age, you kind of got to play around with it a little bit. So, but also
because in the comics they have, like I said, like it only affects like newer lanterns and whatnot. The more experience you have, the more confidence you have in using the ring, the less the yellow affects you.
Sinestro's in the show, so he's a yellow, right? That's his deal. He's
a yellow lantern. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's maybe something about yellow in this.
And then, the Red Lantern guy is supposedly in the show as well. Atrocitus, I think is his name, something like that. I can't remember what his name is.
Is it possibly Anton?
No,
with a like spelled funny. No, because this is what our good friends at Wikipedia says, and he's an extraterrestrial devoted to exposing the truth and exacting vengeance.
I mean, I don't know who that guy is, and that could be a fake name they're using. But
For Atrocitus. I mean, Atrocitus definitely is another one of those. It's also one of those names. It's like a little. It's a buy-in. Atrocitus.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
but I feel like we're beyond the buy-ins at this point when it comes to superhero stuff.
I mean, I don't disagree.
You know?
I don't disagree. But
Like
it might be
being embarrassed by this stuff. The yellow, that's one thing, but being embarrassed by like, oh, that character's name is Atrocitus. One of the biggest characters in all of cinema is called Darth Vader. Like,
No,
it's
I know.
fine.
But the thing is, Atrocitus is not even like a character from like the old days. Atrocitus is a fairly new character. They just give a bad name too.
It's a fun name. Yeah, I think it's a fun name.
So I like the trailer quite a bit. I don't mind it at all. I have made this argument a bunch of times on this program that Hard Traveling Heroes is probably one of like the most iconic Green Lantern stories. And so Green Lantern like hanging out on Earth and doing stuff is really established as a thing that can happen. But also we know that this is about a murder of an alien. So we know that it's not
the same argument that I give to Buddy Todd whenever he's like, what's wrong with Superman being angry in a movie? When you have 12 issues coming out every year, spending 2 or 3 of them with him just hanging out on Earth, that's cool. When this is how you're introducing the majority of people to this character and to this this concept, you got to show them the stuff. Otherwise, I think you're goofing it up. You got to stick to what is the core.
I bet it gets bigger as the series goes on.
Maybe.
I bet it does.
I mean, if they're arguing over spending money on mugs, I don't know how big it can get if that's their concern.
Because one of the things also, it seems clear to me that what we've seen in that trailer is probably the first 2 episodes.
Sure. Yeah.
That seems very clear to me. Like, it does not seem like stuff from later on. There's not like a lot of action-y stuff. There's not like a lot of stuff that like makes you think what's going on. We don't see the other actors all that much. So I think there's probably going to be another trailer that's going to come out before the show comes out that's going to lean into some more of that stuff. This is sort of the announcement. Here are our 2 main characters. Here's their vibe. And here's the vibe of the show. Now, do you think that Hal Jordan survives this program?
Maybe. I don't know. There's that line in there, where he's like, I'm going to do this to the day I die. And I feel like that's either foreshadowing that probably shouldn't be in the trailer or being put in the trailer to make fans be like, oh, he's going to die.
Yeah.
And, or he's going to become Parallax or whatever, which I don't think he's going to become Parallax. Like, I mean, part of it is,
it'd be cool if he did, though, kind of.
It'd be way too, like,
way
again,
too
that's
soon.
just rushing into everything,
Yeah, no idea.
Like, you run into that issue with these kinds of things as well.
Although, if it's like an 8-episode, 1-hour show, that's like 4 movies. And at the end of it, he becomes Parallax. That's like 4 movies. That's actually really reasonable.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, obviously, it depends on how it plays out, right? Like, that'd be part of it. But, part of it, you're always trapped in this thing of like, well, is this going to be an ongoing series, or are you going to do this one and done and then cut out? Like who knows what the future holds of any of this stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's, one of the things that I appreciate about Superman and about both seasons of Peacemaker well, I guess not season 2, but the first season of Peacemaker is like, it ends. If there's no more, that's fine. It's over. Like, the story is told. I don't like the format of like, oh, we're going to pick this up in the future with stuff, because you never know. And I think that hurts the overall ability to enjoy these things later on.
Which is why I think at the end of the series, all the characters should retire. That way it's finished.
No, just the story needs to be finished. Dumbass. Like I said, Superman ends. It has an ending.
What if in this show, in these like 8 or 10 episodes, Hal Jordan becomes Parallax? For those at home that don't know, Hal Jordan went nuts and became Parallax. So he killed all the rest of the Green Lanterns and took all of their rings and became super powerful, and destroyed a whole... no, he didn't destroy a whole city. It's because his city did get destroyed.
Coast City was destroyed, and then he rebuilt it with his ring, and the Guardians were like, you can't do that. And then he's like, fuck you, I can't. And he went to go killed all the Guardians, and along the way killed all the Lanterns and took all their rings.
Yeah.
And then became Parallax. And then he was like, I'm going to recreate the whole universe in my way. And Green Arrow was like, no, you're not. And he shot him in the chest. And he was like, I'm dead. And then he wasn't dead. He came back. And he came back in time to save everyone from the sun being extinguished by the Sun Eater.
He restarted the sun, and then he died that time.
He died that time. He sacrificed himself for
and then he came back. He came back as the Spectre, the agent of God's wrath.
So goddamn cool. I've always loved when he like that path for Hal Jordan. I was like, this is a great character story. Like,
yeah.
You know, and then of course they were like, no, we'll bring him back to being Green Lantern. I was like, that's stupid. Like, it was so cool. Like this concept, this idea of this guy's, you know, turn and redemption and sacrifice, and then becoming the vengeance of God. Like, this was all interesting. And then like using that to explain like, hey, how come Green Arrow came back to life? And it's like, well, because God's right-hand man was like, that's my buddy. Do you mind if he comes back? Like, that's fun. I like that idea, you know? And then they're like, no, he's back to being Green Lantern. Oh, boy.
Well, the other thing that should also happen, so that should happen. He should become Parallax in the show. And the other thing that should happen is Jon Stewart, Green Lantern, has exactly one story. And it's he blows up a planet. He has one. That is the one story that Jon Stewart Green Lantern has.
Story, unfortunately.
And he keeps coming back to it. That's the thing. Like, it isn't just like, and this happened in the 80s.
Yeah.
And
during Cosmic Odyssey, right?
Yeah, and so like he blew up this planet by accident and killed everybody on it, and it just keeps coming up. It's like every story that he has kind of finds its way back to he blew up a planet.
Yeah,
and so he should blow up a planet in the show too.
Sure, why not?
Would that be cosmic enough for you if Jon Stewart blows up a planet?
Sure, yeah, that'd be pretty cosmic. Yeah, yeah, that'd be pretty wild.
I liked. Kyle Chandler's performance is Hal, I will say. There's been a lot of different takes on Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan, you know, he's a test pilot, and in the 50s and stuff, and the 60s and 70s, he was like kind of a stiff, and he was like a super conservative stiff. But I think our understanding of test pilots has changed a lot, and I think that we understand that these guys are like assholes because they're putting their life on the line every single day, and they don't care, and they believe that they can do better. But more than that, there was a discussion on the Discord about his accent, and his accent is, I'm pretty sure, Chuck Yeager's accent. Chuck Yeager's the guy who first broke the sound barrier. Yep. And if you read Tom Wolfe's The Right Stuff, which is the book about the early space race, a thing he talks about is how there's like an entire 2 or 3 generations of pilots who started talking like Chuck Yeager. So it didn't matter where you came from. Like, if you were a pilot, like there was a time when you would be like on any airplane and you would hear like, all right, folks, if you look out the side window. And like that, so like, you know, it's like this oaky drawl. And so that's what he's definitely playing.
If you would like, go and watch the 30 Rock episodes with Matt Damon where he plays a airline pilot. And whenever he has to talk as a pilot to the passengers, he puts on that kind of voice.
Yeah. So, but that was especially test pilots because Chuck Yeager's the greatest test pilot who ever lived.
Yeah.
And so they really take on that accent. So, you know, even though technically Hal Jordan is from Southern California and that is not like a Valley accent, he probably gained it over the course of his career.
Sure.
I like that.
I didn't mind it.
He may not even be from Southern California in the show for all we know. He could be from anywhere because, like, honestly, who really gives a shit?
I mean, even in the comics, sometimes Coast City is Southern California. Sometimes it's up past like San Francisco. It's all over the place.
Yeah, it's somewhere on the coast, thus the name Coast City.
Yeah.
But traditionally, it's like San Diego.
Traditionally, yeah. Usually it's like San Diego is kind of the concept. Like somewhere between San Diego and Los Angeles is Coast City is kind of the concept. But like with all of DC's fictional cities, it depends on who's writing it and where they want it to be. Right?
Well,
sometimes
in the DCU, we know where Gotham is.
Yes, Gotham is solidified in Maryland.
That's in New Jersey.
What?
It's in New Jersey.
No, it's in Maryland in the DCU.
It's in New Jersey.
In
the driver's license. The driver's license. They have Maryland plates, but those driver's licenses in the Penguin are New Jersey driver's licenses.
That's Gotham. That's not Metropolis.
I said Gotham.
Oh, I thought you said Metropolis.
No, No, I said
Okay.
Gotham.
My
Gotham
mistake.
is in New Jersey.
Yeah, Gotham is in Jersey. Well, that's the Batman. That's not the DCU. That's separate. That's
Good
not the same
point.
world.
Good
Yeah.
point. Yeah, there's no Batman in the DCU, and there never will be.
No, no. We know that Gotham is close to Metropolis.
They're
in
across the
DCU.
bay.
Yeah. Yeah, we see the sign, the exit sign for Gotham and Superman, so it's got to be close.
Yeah.
But then, like in the comics, sometimes Central City and Keystone City, the twin cities that Flash takes care of, they're in the Midwest. Sometimes they're in Pennsylvania. It all depends.
Pennsylvania kind of is the Midwest, though.
I
It's not the East.
guess. I would say it's East.
Really? I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel like. I mean, I guess it's an argument. Those cities are Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, right? Or is it just Pittsburgh twice?
I think it's. I'm not really sure when they do that. It's also James Gunn. Jeff Johns moved it to Michigan. He moved the Twin Cities to Michigan, and turned it into like a car town kind of thing.
So,
Which is neat and fun, but like,
except there already is a Detroit in the DC Comics universe, and there was even a Justice League Detroit.
well, I mean, there's a Los Angeles, and they still do stuff. There's a New York, and there's still a Metropolis, right? Like,
Yeah, that's a good point.
they do all this kind of stuff. This is an ongoing discussion quite often with fans of DC Comics of like, is New York still the hub of the financial world? If there's Metropolis,
Yeah, it feels like Metropolis would be. That does feel like it would be.
Like where do these things then fall? Like, is New York as big anymore? When suddenly, instead of like, okay, you have Manhattan and that is the big East Coast city, you have three of them. Where does is New York that really popular? Like,
I mean, we have, the thing is like Gotham maybe isn't that big. Could Gotham just be Jersey City sized or Hoboken sized?
Yes,
Like those aren't giant, those aren't giant cities. I don't think Gotham isn't a giant city, right?
It's pretty big in the comics.
I mean, it depends how they need it, how big they need it to be.
Yeah,
I feel like.
yeah, and I mean, they definitely have it set that it is an island as well. There's that format, which also Metropolis is an island and New York is an island, right? Manhattan's an island. Like, they all follow that kind of format. So it's like, man, there's a lot of giant islands off the East Coast apparently that hold these cities. So it's all very confusing.
The DC Comics universe split off from our universe 2 million years ago when the tectonic plates moved a little bit differently.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the great things in that JLA Avengers crossover is when they I think it's when the JLA goes to the Avengers world and they're like, this Earth's a lot smaller, which I've always appreciated because they don't have fake cities and they're like, it's a lot smaller. I like that.
All right, we got letters this week.
We do. Charles says, you recently said that the truest, to be the truest of haters, you have to have the passion for what you're hating about. The MCU and Daredevil are prime examples for me. The two things that had a real hold on my life in my 20s where I'd rarely say something negative about them. To be able to take the piss out of them years later feels freeing in some way. So as one of the haters of the Discord, I have to ask, what thing are you passionate about that you also have a lot of hate and dislike for?
So I don't have one anymore, but for the longest time it was Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars was like my main thing that I loved and I hated, and I've critiqued and criticized and was annoyed by all the time. That was my main one. These days I don't really have one. I feel like I don't have. I think that after the last 20-something years, of adaptations and like different franchises and different things, that like I've seen it all come and go, that like I no longer have an attachment to the thing. And even like in the world of like, let's say comics or whatever, I know that if I don't like the status of the current comic books, I just have to wait around. Like it'll change. Like it'll be something I like later. And so there's like a lot of freedom in that. Like I don't care if they don't get X right, because okay, who cares? Like I mean, again, I think it's because there's been so many fucking things in the past 20 years. Like when Star Trek now, and there's like a bunch of the new Star Trek isn't very great, or it's kind of shitty or whatever. I don't really care that much. Like it's okay. Like I know eventually, either Star Trek's going to go away, which is what it did once, or it's going to switch around and we'll have new stuff that'll be different. And so it's fine, you know. I mean, that's the thing I don't understand. People like on Facebook, especially, are like really mad about like Starfleet Academy and stuff, and it's just like I don't know, man. Just don't watch it. Like it's all right. Like you'll be okay, man. Like it's totally all right. So yeah, I don't have that anymore. Do you have that?
I have it for one thing.
What's that?
Humanity.
Oh boy,
I love and hate humanity in equal measure.
but yeah, I mean that is I still think that's a pretty good metric, and that's why I don't feel like I'm a true hater anymore. Like I used to be like a real hater, but I don't feel like a true hater anymore.
No, there's never been anything I've hated. I mean, there are things I don't like, obviously, right? Like you said,
but you're a hater on like with me with Star Wars. Like I was writing like essays about why Star Wars is dead and shit like that.
Yeah,
like that's like hating on. But I didn't necessarily hate Star Wars, but I love the OT so much that I hated on the new stuff.
Yeah, So. I've never had that so much. You know, I just kind of, if I don't like something anymore, I just kind of like walk away from it and go, okay, I'm done with that for now.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I was talking to a friend, and both of us have matured greatly in the past few years. And we both were like, it's harder to be a hater now of people because we both like see somebody who's awful and then we go, oh, they must be suffering. And we're like, oh, this makes it really hard to hate on this person. Like, all I want to do is make fun of this person. But then you're like, oh, boy, it must be miserable to be that guy. And that's just not fun. You know, it's just not as good. So,
yeah. I think about a lot. There's a guy that covers on Blue Sky that writes a lot about the Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. And I found him very interesting. I followed him for a very long time. And I had to stop following him because he started more often complaining about people that like responded to him than writing about the Supreme Court and whatnot. And I was like, this is exhausting to me. Like, just don't worry about it. Somebody disagreed with you. It's okay. You know? And then I was like, I don't think this guy's in a good place. Like mentally.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Well, I will tell you this. Anybody who sees a bit of success, not always, but many of them, go through a Lenny Bruce phase. Yeah. Like where Lenny Bruce was on stage reading his court documents. Like,
sure. Yeah.
This happens. Like Kurt Cobain had it. All Apologies is almost all of it's about him getting harassed by the media and shit.
Yeah.
But you see many people that get into that space where they kind of like the amount of attention they're getting becomes like impossible to ignore, and it's really easy to focus on the negative attention, and so that's what ends up happening. So
I forgot it was somebody I was listening to recently put it really well. It was like there was a time not long ago where there were like obscenely rich people, but they weren't like showing up so that you could yell at them all the time and then them being sad that they're getting yelled at all the time. And in return being like, I'm going to destroy the world because everyone's mean to me online. And that is the reality we live in now.
Yeah, we do live in an age of supervillains because that is like a pretty good Silver Age supervillain story, origin story. Like people were mean to me, so I'm going to blow up the earth. Like that's like you didn't need much more than that in the Silver Age, and but we're living it now.
I mean, that was Dr. Octopus's origin.
Yes,
was the other scientists made fun of him for being a nerd. Yeah, and then he was like, "I'm going to go destroy everything."
Yeah, and so I think that we're living in that, and it's way less charming than it was in the comic books. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. Well, they don't put on like cool armor and go fly around. They just, poison the land.
Oh God. First they came for the billionaires and I did nothing because good, fuck those guys.
You're not going to go to the support your millionaires in Los Angeles march?
No, I'm not.
No? Oh. That's too bad.
Where are they going to go? This is the thing. They're always like, we're going to leave. Like, where are you going to fucking go? Like, honestly, where are you going to go? Like, you're all city people. That's the thing. You're all city people. Like, you don't want to go live in Iowa. You don't want to do it.
No. And the same when they do that with, like, Mamandi getting elected in New York, and they're like, all the wealthy are going to leave. Like, no, they're not, because they like Broadway.
Yeah, there's no chance. They like being New Yorkers. Like, there's just no chance. Yeah. And, like, a couple of people
they've all seen the end of Goodfellas. They understand what it's like.
There are people that move to Texas from California, and almost always they're like, "Oh, this is not that great." I mean, the one thing Texas has
hang out with Joe Rogan now.
Texas has no income tax, so it's got that going for it. But like otherwise, I think people are like, oh, this is not what I liked. Like I liked the city, I liked the action, I liked that there were a lot of options for me. And now here I have the same 6 fucking things
Yeah.
to eat, you know. So yeah.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Colin says, hey guys, I know Devin has mentioned before he's a big fan of Jesus Christ Superstar. So Am I. It is a great show. I saw an amazing production in Sydney last year. But the concept album is also one of the greatest rock albums ever made. I find it interesting. My other favorite Jesus adaptation is Last Temptation of Christ, which also portrays Judas in a more favorable light and the other apostles as dopes. My question is, from your studies and readings, is there any historical basis for how Judas is portrayed in Superstar / Last Temptation?
So here's the thing. I am not convinced that Judas was real. Like in terms of characters in the Bible, I'm convinced that Jesus was real. I truly believe there was that guy was a guy. Like whether or not he did anything that it says in the book is another matter, but that was a guy and he had followers. Like that was a dude. Judas is harder for me to reconcile as a historical figure because there's a couple of like little tells in the Bible. One of the things that I really think about a lot is that Jesus is at one point in one of the books, I forget which one, he's talking to the 12 apostles and he tells them there will be a kingdom for each of them, which is like a weird thing to tell the guy who's going to betray you to your death. Like it doesn't seem right. Like it's so either you have to decide that Jesus doesn't know everything, or you have to decide that Judas probably wasn't actually there. They put that guy in.
Well,
Judas
it could be like a kingdom of shit.
But right. Judas is a good character to put in because you need somebody to betray Jesus, because otherwise the story is he was such a big loud jerk that they just killed him. Like you gotta have that. Like you can't, you know what I mean? Like you kind of gotta have that is still the story, but like the betrayal makes it like meaningful. Now, in terms of like a more positive portrayal of Judas, one of the really interesting theological questions about Judas is sometimes considered the only person that we know in hell, but that's not true. The Catholic Church has never said that anybody's in hell. They tell you saints are people who they know are in heaven. That's how that works. That's the premise of what a saint is. But there has never been anybody who has been like the church has said, this person's definitely in hell.
Don't we all go to heaven? Wasn't that the whole Jesus deal?
No.
Was that he died to reopen heaven, right?
Yeah, but you could still fuck it up. You have free will. You could still fuck it up. So even he is not technically known to be in hell. But the thing is about him is that he's a necessary part of the story. And so like without Judas, Jesus doesn't die. And Jesus doesn't die, then there's no salvation, right? So that's what becomes theological.
They don't dance, they don't kiss. If they don't kiss. Yeah.
That's what's theologically really interesting about Judas, is that he has to be there. So how bad could he be, right? Like that's the thing. And even in Jesus Christ Superstar, there's a bit where Judas is like, why would you use me for this horrible plan? And that's a really interesting thing. The deal is, though, that this thought process is not new. So there's a non-canonical gospel that was lost for 2,000 years almost, the Gospel of Judas. And it was a Gnostic gospel. And it's probably from like around 280. What are you laughing at?
His title for it was "If I Did It."
But so it was written around 280-ish, or the earliest manuscript that we have is from around 280-ish. And in that, Judas is the only guy who knows what Jesus is really up to, and Jesus imparts to him all the secret Gnostic wisdom and stuff like that. So that's very old. Like that's crazy old.
I remember reading a while back that there's a ongoing debate on if Jesus in the original Bible or whatever calls Judas traitor or friend, right? Like there's a back and forth on that.
I'm not aware of it, but maybe. I haven't come across that. I haven't come across. I mean, it could be. So one of the things about the Bible is that translations are real sticky wicket, and that there are words that, like the idea of that the prophecy that the virgin birth, which is in Isaiah, it's probably a mistranslation. Even back then, it was a mistranslation. They, because the Greek word, it could have meant virgin, but it really meant young woman. That's how people really used it. And so they didn't need to be a virgin, but like when they were writing the Bible, they needed to like hit these prophecy points. So they made it a virgin birth. Yeah. And then the story there is that maybe the virgin birth is a cover up for the fact that Jesus' father was a Roman centurion. That's like a theory I like. I like it personally. I don't know if I think it's true, but I like it personally.
So like the whole thing is Mary didn't want Joseph to know that she was cheating on him?
Well, she may not have been cheating on him. The Roman centurions were not wooing.
Darker story.
They were not whining and dining the people of Judea. But that's also very old. That like very old sources say that Jesus was the result of a Roman centurion, and we even know the name Pantera was the name of the Roman centurion. The band claims that they did not know that was the name.
I can believe that.
Yeah, they're not very smart. Pantera means panther in Latin. So
yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, this concept of Judas being a pawn or like a guy that like needed to be there extends all the way back to the 2nd century of Christianity. So it's very fucking old.
There you go. There you go. Chris says, do you think James Gunn will bring Static into the DCU? I think...
Tell everybody who Static is. People may not know who Static is.
Static is a character created via Milestone Comics, which...
What was Milestone Comics?
I'm getting into it, thank you.
Sorry.
Which was an imprint in the 90s that ran through DC, although DC does not technically own Milestone. The legalities of Milestone are very confusing.
They must own it because they integrated it into the DC universe.
They don't.
It's so interesting.
Yes. They like my understanding at least is the characters of Milestone can't be published by anyone but DC, but DC does not outright own the characters.
Okay.
It's like there's a weird thing going on, and it connects into what I'm about to get into, but Static is like the biggest Milestone character. He had his own cartoon for a while, Static Shock. He's a teenage boy who gains electricity powers, and he had a great, cool costume, and now they give him what I think is a pretty not cool costume. I like his original, look much better. But he was created by Dwayne McDuffie, and he's a great, great character. A bunch of the Milestone characters are great, great characters. Milestone itself was an imprint and ran for a couple of years. It ran out of steam, unfortunately, and they shut it down. Throughout the years, the characters have popped up here and there. There's been a big push to bring them back in the last few years and integrate them into the DC universe itself, into DC Prime itself. There was, I can't remember if it was before or after Gunn came on board as the head of DC Studios, but there was an announcement that they were working on a Milestone animated movie. Gunn himself has been asked about Static and Icon and Hardware. Those are the 3 primary characters of the Milestone universe, of if they could show up in the DC movies, and he has said, I'd like to, it's not up to me. Why he said that is because there's, as far as I know, still ongoing lawsuits over royalties for these characters. And until that lawsuit is settled, and it's between the actual owners of Milestone, it's not DC, it's Dwayne McDuffie, who passed away, it's his wife, and the other creators of Milestone are arguing over royalty rights, is my understanding of it. Okay. And until that is solidified, until that ends, DC Studios cannot take these characters and put them into movies or cartoons or anything like that. So for the time being, Static will not be in the DCU.
He would be a great movie character. He's essentially Peter Parker. I mean,
Yes.
like he's consciously modeled on that. Like,
Yes.
and he would be a great fucking character. And I think that his powers are really interesting and they're really visual. They did just publish a Milestone Comics special for
Yes.
DC.
History of the DC Universe Milestone special. Yeah.
I hated it.
I was confused by it.
I really did not like it. So, for those at home, DC Comics has yet again done a little bit of house cleaning on its canon, and so they published a mini series called "The New History of the DC Universe."
Did you read DCKO number 5?
I sure did.
It kind of ends with the history of DC Universe. Fuck you.
Yeah, it sure does. It sure does.
Funny.
Yeah,
Like,
I did not like DCKO number 5.
No, I did not.
I found the rest of the series charming.
Yeah.
But I thought that was actually garbage. I thought it was like
I thought it was
awful.
very wishy-washy, confusing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was confusing, and I think that the ending is just trash, and I just think it's... Yeah,
I mean, I'm not a fan of your events setting up the next event.
Right.
I've never been a fan of that. You know, I think that's exhausting. But
but anyway, so they did a special issue about Milestone, and it was a little bit about the history of Dakota City, which is the fake city that Milestone Comics is set in. But most of the book is about why you've never seen a Milestone character in the DC universe, and it's because when Lex Luthor was president, there was a whole thing where... I mean, like, it's so stupid. Like, it doesn't make any sense. He enlisted the Justice League to, like, tell them never to leave Dakota City and never be superheroes again. And they're like, okay, I guess so. And I just thought that this was awful. I thought that for the heroes, this was awful. This was I feel like Icon, especially, it's an awful thing to do. The idea that these heroes never left Dakota City, none of these characters from the DCU had ever met them before Lex Luthor was president is nuts. And none of the DC characters had ever been to Dakota City.
yeah.
And they're like, wow, this is my first time here. It's like, what the fuck? Like, come on. Like, I don't believe that. Like, there's super guys and super villains here. Like, I believe that you would show up eventually. Or you would run into some of these people someplace. And, but I really hated the idea that here, these, like, premier black superheroes just quit being superheroes because the president tells them to. He's threatening them, and he's threatening Dakota City. But, like, still, like, I feel like it's the kind of thing, like, where superheroes just don't do that. That's just not how superhero stories work traditionally. And I found it really, like, shitty for those Dakota characters. I really just did not like it. So,
It was confusing. I don't know why that was the choice they made to go that way. I found that very confusing. They changed... Because in the Milestone universe, everyone gains powers. Not everyone, but most people gain powers from an experimental tear gas that's used at a demonstration.
At a demonstration, yeah.
And they changed what the demonstration was for in this. And this isn't the first time they've changed the demonstration. In the original comics, the demonstration was actually all of the like major gangs of Dakota City coming together to have a parlay. And people showed up just to watch. And then the cops showed up and used the tear gas and things went bad. So there was that. And then when they initially started like a big push to bring the Milestone characters back, which was around 2018, I want to say, they redid the origin or the reason for everyone getting together and what the tear gas was to a Black Lives Matter march, which I thought was really good. And then in this, they turned it back into a thing where everyone's getting together to march against the gangs. And it's like, I really think the Black Lives Matter thing works better for, especially going on with the story where, okay, here comes, this rich white guy who's running the country to be like, you people, none of you can be superheroes anymore. And we're shutting down your city. Like, I think playing into that path more would have been a little bit better.
I don't disagree. And I think, so my problem is that the Milestone heroes all just give up. And my other problem, though, is that Superman shows up. It's like, hey, guys, nothing I can do about this. Sorry, you got to do it. And I'm like,
it would have been okay if Superman showed up and was like, Icon, you're ripping my bit, and I'm not going to stand for it. Like, I've already got to deal with Martian Manhunter being the exact same thing.
No, he's like, listen, Icon, I already sued the company that made Captain Marvel out of existence. So And he was less obviously obviously inspired by me than you are.
Do this.
But no, I hated that too. I hated that Superman's like, sorry guys, you're gonna have to quit being superheroes. And the idea that it was just these guys have to quit being superheroes. Like I was like, what the fuck? Like what? I just really, I mean, like a better story is like something happened in Dakota City that like phased it out of space and time. And so Dakota City's been doing its own shit for a while.
Not for nothing. That's the answer they used for Keystone City when they first did Post-Crisis.
Yeah.
Was that because originally, like, you know, it was Barry Allen is in Central City and he traveled to Earth 2 where there's Keystone City and met Jay Garrick. And when they did Crisis and everything became one planet, their answer was Keystone was phased out of time. So it was always separate. And then Barry Allen, having his powers, was able to phase into it. And then him and Jay were able to fix it. And Keystone came back and all the people came back. Like, you could do something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would make more sense and it would not require you to, I think, really make these heroes seem like chumps in a very significant way.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to do. It's a weird...
Because, like, the thing is so there's... Icon is like Superman. He's an alien that fell to Earth and he has all those superpowers. And then Hardware is Iron Man. Like, so
Icon's such an amazing character, though, because Icon is an alien baby who landed on Earth in, like, 1845 and was found by slaves. And so he is not human looking like how Superman Kryptonians happen to look human. He looked like an alien, but he's a shapeshifter. And as a baby, when he saw a human, the first thing he ever saw was a black woman. He turned into a black baby. And then he's essentially immortal. He's also conservative.
Yeah.
Which is a very interesting aspect of his character.
Yeah.
But at least in the old comics he was. I don't know if he still is. But that's fun. You know,
I have to imagine
is cool.
He was like fiscally conservative, right? He wasn't. Was he socially conservative? Was he anti-gay rights?
I don't remember how deep they got into that in the comics in the 90s. But he was a Republican. I remember that being part of the story. Right. He's like, I'm a Republican, by the way.
But so they have this guy who's so unbelievably powerful, and then they have Tony Stark, basically, Black Tony Stark, who's like one of the smartest guys alive, Hardware. Yeah. And then both those guys are like, yeah, I guess so. I guess we're gonna quit. I mean, like, get the fuck out of here. Like, this is the moment that you spring into action. Like, that's the thing. Like.
And the Justice League just being cool with it. Like, Batman standing there being like, yeah, what are you gonna do, guys?
They're enforcing it. I understand the concept that like the oppressive system and the Justice League is part of this. I get it. Like I get it. I don't think it's done well. That's the problem. No. It's just not done well. So anyway, we had a long intro this week. I thought we were gonna have a short intro. We didn't want to.
You wanted to start off talking about weather and shit. Jesus.
All right. If people want to get their questions answered on the podcast, how can they do that?
You can send your questions to ask.cinema@gmail.com. In the subject line, put what show you want it for, Bad Batch or Omniverse. What are you doing?
I'm trying to make that thumb pop up again. It's not doing it. It's not doing it.
Subject line, put Bad Batch or Omniverse, what show you want it for, one question or comment per email, please. Thank you.
All right. You ready to talk about the second episode of V, The Final Battle?
Sure am.
Let's do it. V, The Final Battle, Episode 2. This episode opens with, like, really making sure that we know what dopes the Resistance is. Because they're, like, playing softball in front of their Resistance headquarters. Like,
I don't understand, because the last episode ended with them being like, we got to get out of here, right?
Yeah.
And now they're just hanging out in front having a barbecue?
Yeah.
I don't understand what's going on.
Well, neither does Ham Tyler, our new character. Michael Ironside's one of the great character actors, one of the great cinema tough guys.
Yes.
We love Michael Ironside. He's got just that voice. You know what I mean?
He's got a great voice.
A great voice. And the thing about, like, Michael Ironside's is that Ironside, he's just one. There's no multiple sides to him.
Ironside's is a lawyer.
Is a lawyer. Is a lawyer in a wheelchair. That's why he's Ironside's, because he's in a wheelchair.
Played by Raymond Burr.
When you put him in a thing like this, you totally understand what his entire deal is. Like, it's very quick. Like, when Ruby's like, I want to hear your story, you're like, you don't have to. Like, it's Michael Ironside. Like, that's his story.
Yeah.
And he's, like, been in a million things. Most famously, he got broke out in Scanners, which I haven't seen in a long time. When's the last time you watched Scanners? I feel like
Oh
Scanners.
no, I watched Rabbit during
The pandemic.
pandemic.
I feel like Scanners does not get brought up
College?
anymore the way that it used to, like all the time.
No, the head explosion used to be everywhere.
But he's also very memorably in Starship Troopers,
Yes.
like very memorably in Total Recall, among other things. But he's in like a lot of stuff. So he's like one of the greats, and he gets caught by Sancho. Right, Sancho catches him.
Yeah.
He's like spying on our guys,
He's taking photos.
he's taking photos. Yeah. And then
I'm not sure why.
So a couple of resistance guys are like, "All right, buddy, you give it up." And then all of a sudden, a big fat guy comes out of a building, and he's like got a gun, and everybody just folds. They
Now,
just see the fat guy, they just fold.
Here's my problem with them folding. Right? Sancho's got a machine gun.
Yeah, he's got like a fucking like.
I think the other guy's the
rifle,
cop
yeah.
guy, right? The cop guy's got
Yeah.
like a handgun.
Yeah.
Michael Ironside's buddy comes out, and he's got a machine gun, or he's got an Uzi,
It's got an Uzi, yeah.
and he's like, "You better let him go." And they're like, "Oh no!" And they put down their guns and let Michael Ironside go. I'd be like, "You're going to open fire on an Uzi? You're going to kill your own boy." Like, there's no doubt about it, because we're all standing a foot, like inch to inch. Like,
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's so funny because they get like fucking like Michael Ironside and his buddy like capture them and bring them into Resistance headquarters.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we also are seeing that Dick Smith has been arrested by the Visitors.
Miller.
Dick Miller, sorry. Dick Smith, the makeup artist. My apologies. Dick Miller has been arrested by the Visitors, and they're beating the shit out of him, and he spills the beans about the Resistance. And Ruby is able to get a call in to them because she's still working at the security headquarters, and she finds out that they're gearing up for a raid. And so what happens is that Ham Tyler comes in, and there's like a lot of argument like about like who's in charge. Turns out that Ham and Mike Donovan know each other, and Ham has given Mike Donovan among one of the dumbest nicknames anybody. Gooder. It just doesn't.
I like it.
It doesn't roll off the tongue.
I disagree. That to me sounds like a name, like in a Western, like one of like the, a John Wayne movie. You got John Wayne's right-hand man, and then there's a third guy in the posse who's just called Gooder, and they never like go any deeper.
Well, that's just his name. His name is Gooder.
Yeah.
Like, that would be his name. But like I think as a nickname, I'm like, come on, you can. It's short for do-gooder. And so it turned out that Ham Tyler is a guy who has been at the scene of every single revolution in the last 10 years.
Which, by the way, when Mike Donovan explains that he calls him do-gooder, his explanation has nothing to do with doing good. He's like, he calls me do-gooder because he sets up revolutionaries to do horrible things, and I record it. That's not doing good. Like, doing good would be like, and I stop those horrible things from happening.
No, they should
and then
not.
I put it on the news and make my living off of it.
Ham Tyler's on the right side of all these things. That's the thing. So,
Well, we don't know what side he's on.
I would say he's on the right side of these things.
They're suggesting that he's on whichever side pays more.
He does seem to be a mercenary. That does seem to be part of his deal. And so there's like a whole thing, like he's like, I'm your new leader now, and everybody's like, no way, no way. And he turns out that him and his buddy, where did they come from, by the way?
They just show up. Well, he says that there's a network of resistance cells all around the country, and Los Angeles is the only one that's not working with everybody else. And they're like, we're here because you guys are screwing up everything, which I do appreciate that.
I do like that. So they have Teflon bullets, and these Teflon bullets can get through the visitor armor.
This is very important to understand. Forever chemicals are what killed the visitors. That's what we learned here.
So we have like this like standoff between Mike and between Gooder and Ham Tyler. Ham Tyler's an amazing name, by the way.
Ham Tyler, if you told me, if like you gave me a list of names and Ham Tyler was on there and next to it was like a list of shows to connect it to, I would definitely be like, he's got to be like one of like the pig character from Garfield and Friends. like, come on, Ham Tyler, come on.
Oh man. So the visitors show up to raid, and we end up with this like running gunfight where everybody's like packing up all their shit and getting out of there, and the visitors show up, and so Ham and his boy are like keeping up the rear, and they're just cutting down visitors. It's a very funny thing, this episode. A number of the firefights definitely go on too long.
And in this one, they didn't shoot enough coverage, so they have to keep cutting back to the same shot of bullets bouncing, or the lasers bouncing off of the same wall.
Yes.
Which is very confusing, because they'd be in different locations. They'd be like, why are they still shooting that wall? It's like 30, like 3 blocks behind them. I don't understand.
A thing that I really like, though, is that we talked about this, that on the show, nobody can shoot.
Yes.
Ham and his guy can shoot.
Oh, yeah. They're mowing down everybody.
They're mowing these guys down. Yeah. I mean, I like that a lot, actually. Like, that's like
it
very subtle storytelling.
Yeah, and it connects back into their thing of like, you resistance fighters are the worst resistance fighters, and we're here to make sure you get things going properly.
So they make it out of the tunnels, and Ham and his guy set up dynamite that they explode to, I guess, collapse the tunnel and kill whatever visitors are after them. Everybody's really mad. The visitors are really mad about this. So upstairs, Brian kills Dick Miller.
Yeah.
Just puts a laser bolt in him.
Dick Miller just in 3 scenes. That's it.
Yeah. And you know what? He's 3 scenes, kept his SAG insurance.
Yeah.
He made a couple of bucks.
Yeah. I'm not complaining. I'm happy. I'm always happy to see Dick Miller.
I think what's interesting is that they had one of the great character actors enter the show, and he had to die for another great character actor to enter the show.
Yeah.
They only had room for the one. They had to kill Dick Miller. He had to go.
Imagine if Dick Miller was him. That'd be much more fun to me, I think.
It would be way weirder.
It'd be so strange.
It'd be way weirder.
Yeah.
Ham Tyler, we finally get also our character who's doing one-liners. We finally get that. Like, we have not really had that. And he does a bunch of one-liners. Here in this battle, he's killing visitors, and he goes, waste of good luggage. So he does a lot of that.
That's not true. Mike and his first part, and Tony would do one-liners to each other all the time.
They would do one-liners to each other, but they weren't killing guys.
No, because they couldn't shoot.
Right, Ham is killing guys and doing a one-liner. That's a classic action hero thing.
Yeah.
So like Mike and Tony were like quipping back and forth. That's like adventure hero stuff.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Mike and Tony were adventure heroes. Ham is an action hero.
Yes.
And so that's why he has to have a little line. He needs to get past the idea that we use reptiles to make luggage and wallets, because most of his shit is fixated on that premise, I would say.
Look, he's got a bit. He's sticking to it.
He's sticking to it.
Yeah.
We cut to Eleanor's house, Mike's mom, and Steven is there, as he always is. And Eleanor asked for a favor. She asked Steven to get her grandson Sean out of the visitor ship. She knows that he's up there. She gives him a picture. This is one of my favorite aspects of this episode, is that later on Steven gives this picture to somebody. He goes, find this kid. And like, we saw how big that fucking, he goes, what's the kid's name? It doesn't matter.
Just go through. He's like, kid, could you tell me when he was taken, or like where he was taken from? Like, all you gave me is a photo.
Like, they could be any one of the 16 ships that's flying around the fucking globe, and each of them have like 100,000 people on them. That's so funny.
Those cocoons is not easy. They like, he's not gonna be wearing these clothes.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Like, this is gonna be tough. Can you?
I want to watch like a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead about the two guys who have to go deal with this the whole fucking, because it's the whole episode it takes them to find Sean.
Oh, you do a whole like season. Yeah.
But I love that he's like, go find this kid. What's his name? Doesn't matter.
Fuck you is his name. How about that?
But it made me realize that they're not probably logging these people in. There's no reason to their food, right?
No,
There's no reason to log them in. Yeah. So they're probably checking them off. Like, we know we got these people, so, like on some list that when they bring them up to the ship, but they're not like saying he's in section D.
But I don't even think they're doing it. Like, I don't think they were like, what's your name? My name's Sean Donovan. He's like, okay, you're checked off. I think they, like, for certain people, like, higher ups or whatever, maybe they're doing that kind of thing. But, like, Sean Donovan, they don't give a shit. They just took that whole town. They just took that town.
They took it, literally everybody, yeah. So, anyway, Steven gives us confirmation that Christine is dead because her job is open, and he offers it to Eleanor, and she's so excited to take it. And the husband, after Steven leaves, the drunk husband is like, well, this is awful. Even for you, Eleanor, this is a fucking new low. Like, you know they're going to use that kid to capture your son. And she's like, I no longer consider Michael my son. And the drunk husband's like, I'm leaving you. And she's like, if you leave, you can never come back. And he's like, thank God.
Yeah, it's great.
It's got to be his house.
Yes, it's 100% his house.
Right? Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be like misogynistic here that she couldn't have money, but like, he's like an industrialist. It does seem like
he's the vice president of that factory and stuff, right? So like, that's his house. She, as far as we can tell, does not work.
Right.
You know, I'm going back into my theory that her and Mike Donovan years ago they grew up poor, and she saw this guy as her way out. You know, and that's the format here. But I mean, you know, I imagine when they got married, there was some kind of prenup or something, and he doesn't care about the house. All he cares about is the booze.
That's a good point. He'll get a new fucking house that hasn't had a bunch of lizards hanging out in it all the time.
He'll get himself like a nice condo and booze it up. He'll have fun.
Good for him. Do you think that Eleanor's going to make Steven kill him?
No.
You don't think so? I feel like she would. Because that way she can get all his money from his will, because she's definitely in his will. He's not going to have time to change it. If she makes Steven kill him, she can get all that shit. Because Eleanor's a bad person, frankly.
No, she's not a good person. She's not a good person. So, I think she would be more into the conversion thing. Like, hey, can you convert him so he's not drinking so much and he'll just do what we want? And, you know, because him dying, that's unseemly. That's scandalous. You know? And she doesn't want scandals.
No, if he, I mean, her son is the fucking head of the resistance.
Yeah, she's got enough.
So she's living in scandal already. So why not just make her husband be resistance? Pretend that. We find the new base that they have, the resistance
Spawn
has.
Ranch.
It's not really Spawn Ranch. It's a movie ranch that I am pretty sure I've been to. Yeah. Because I a bunch of years ago. I went to a weird event, and it was for an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and we went to this like old Western set that would look just like this, including the saloon looks just like this, although they all look the same. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like a little bit hard to say 100%. But
was there a train there? That would
well, I don't think that's actually the same place, like in real life. Do you know what I mean? I think we never see the train up with.
That's true. That's
the rest of the stuff. Arnold Schwarzenegger owned a tank, and he drove the tank around, crushing things, and we got to ride on it. But while we were waiting, we hung out in this town in the saloon.
Yeah.
And so I think it might be that same one, and it was like way up in the fucking middle of nowhere, like up in Ventura County or something like that. But like the thing is, those places exist. So this is not just like a bit. Like those places legitimately exist.
Especially back then. I mean, they were all over the place in California, I imagine.
Yeah.
There were quite a few of them.
Yeah.
Probably fewer now, I would think, but.
Yeah, there's less. A couple of them burned down. Like the movie ranch where they filmed Friday the 13th Part 4, that burned down. Okay. Anyway, that's where their new setup is, and they're living in train cars on this area, and so Willie is in chains, and Harmony comes to visit him. And he's being nice to her. She's being nice to him. And he's like, why are you nice to me? You know what I look like. And she's like, well, I never loved you for your looks in the first place. She also calls him a dope. A lot of negging here in this relationship. I feel like it might be abusive, frankly.
Do you think when he got the script, what's his name?
Robert Englund.
Robert Englund got the script. And like part of his scene is like, yeah, you're ugly. Who gives a shit? And he's like, come on, what the fuck?
Oh, guys, Jesus Christ. I'm trying to make a living over here.
Guy, you know?
I always think about that. Like when there's a character in a movie or TV show who is like supposed to be really ugly and characters will mention it, they cast that, like casting an ugly guy. Yeah. And so that, I'm sure I know for a fact that there are agents who have like a file of like their ugly
weird
guys.
Looking dudes, and
they have their file of ugly guys.
Yeah.
So
you gotta have your Eddie Deasons out there. You know?
Well, Eddie's not ugly. He's just weird.
He's a weird looking guy.
So Anyway, she's like, I really care about you. I don't care what you look like. I fell in love with the idiot inside of you. And it's all very, very sweet. So Ham comes and talks to Mike Donovan, and Mike's like, we have to rescue Julie. And Ham, this whole show is about Mike wanting to do personal missions and everybody telling him no, and then they do it anyway. That's the entire plot of both V's. Like, it really is. And Ham's like, no way. First of all, it's not worth killing people to get one person. And second of all, she's probably dead. He's like, and Mike's like, no, there's no way that she gave in to the conditioning. And Ham's like, well, if it's not successful, there's two outcomes: you're dead or your brain is Swiss cheese. Like, those are the two outcomes. That's it. So like, if she's not converted, she's either dead or wishing that she was dead. But like, Mike talks him into it, like, with no effort at all.
Mike talks him into it with Ironside basically being like, all right, we got to get the plot moving. So let's
this scene can't keep going on. We need to move this shit along.
Mike's argument is, look, everyone here is going to agree with me that we have to go save her. So you can either help with that or not. That's up to you. But that's what's going to happen here. Yeah. And Ironside's like, yeah, fine. All right, I guess we'll do that.
I mean, I guess the argument here is that since Ironside is there to like help this cell, if this whole cell goes off and gets killed in a fucking raid, his mission's totally failed.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, I think that could be the thing. We cut to Julie in the conditioning chamber, and it turns out the visitors can read your mind.
Yeah.
They have a computer that can read your mind. They know her traumas, and one of her traumas was being followed by somebody, and then she hid in an abandoned house or factory or something. Yeah. And so she has a fear of abandoned places. And so we see Diana like upping the ante. One of the visitor technicians, like, she's got a heart condition. You're going to kill her if you keep doing it. And Diana's like, I don't care. Just keep doing it. And then we get like inside of her head, like what's going on. And there's like a monster that like comes up behind her at one point. But then the best part happens is a fucking iguana shows up and they shoot it like it's giant. Like it's Night of the Lepus, that movie where the giant rabbits, and they just have regular rabbits bouncing through a model town. Yeah. And it's so fucking funny when this iguana shows up.
It comes crashing through a door.
It's so fucking great.
Hey.
So fucking great. I really fucking loved it very, very much. What?
The whole conversion thing. I don't know the actress's name. The actress that plays Julie.
Faye Grant.
What a tough situation I imagine this is for an actor, where they're like, look, you cannot move your feet off of this platform, but you have to act like you're in a great deal of pain, and your mind is being probed, and you're seeing these horrible things, and we're going to put you in this skin-tight, flesh-colored outfit, and don't move too much, but move. But not too much. Like, she's trapped in such like a tight spot to convey horrific pain and whatnot that there's not much she can do there. Like,
well, and they also probably were like, and whatever you do, do not quantum leap, because there are parts of this where it just turns into quantum leap. Like, the lighting is exactly quantum leap lighting. It's crazy. Yeah. I couldn't believe it.
If you listen, you can hear like, Sam.
Yeah, it's really wild that like the lighting is exactly quantum leap lighting. So that's all happening. Mike brings Ham to meet Martin.
Yeah, I don't know why he does that.
I don't get it. I mean, I'm assuming that Ham demanded it. Like, I need to know who your contact is. Like, I'm sure that's probably part of it. This episode, it's funny. This is a 6-hour miniseries. And this episode feels like a number of times they just like are like, you know what? Let's not even bother with that. Let's just skip ahead to the thing.
But also, we'll get to it later, there is at one point where they spend 30 seconds just letting us see everyone walk out of a building.
Yes.
They can't speed this one up. What's going on?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, some scenes go on too long, and then some scenes are just skipped. Like, just straight up skipped. Like, they just don't even do it. And so Ham explaining why he wants to meet Martin is one of them. And so this is a classic Mike Martin meeting, in which Mike makes demands of Martin. Martin says it's going to get me killed, and Mike's saying, I don't care. And then Ham is like, I also don't care. They're meeting in a warehouse?
But I can't, like, they drive in. And then they're sitting there, and this I love too is that they're sitting there, and Ham is like, "I don't trust your gator friend. Gators aren't trustworthy." And Mike comes out from behind them, from behind like boxes, and it looks like he's like, "Hey man, what the fuck?" Like,
It really is. That's exactly. It's Martin comes out from behind boxes.
Martin, yeah.
Yeah, and
I just like what is Martin doing behind these boxes? Like, what is going on?
they're both so mean to him. Like,
Yeah.
I really like. I like Martin a lot.
Yes.
You know, I like Martin a lot, and I think Martin's like a really good guy, and Martin's really decent, and Martin's taking an unbelievable risk.
Yeah.
Like, he could just shut his mouth and just do shit. Like, he doesn't have to be a fucking fifth columnist. He could just let it go and be perfectly comfortable and he's like a high level guy. Like, he's hanging out with Diana all the time.
He's got 2 stripes.
He's got 2 stripes. He's a 2-striper. Yeah. But yet they treat this guy like shit every single time. And they need stuff from him too. And then their whole thing is like, you suck. I don't trust you. You're a fucking lizard. And it's just like him. And Martin's like, okay, I guess I'll do it for you.
Sure, yeah, all right.
This is my theory that Martin's in love with Mike.
There's nothing to say he's not, I guess. Yeah.
Later on in the episode when Mike rats out Martin and Martin's not even mad. Like, that's 100%.
Not only is Martin not mad, Martin, I will say, a little much with touching Mike's face.
He's in love with Mike, I'm telling
It's
you.
a little uncomfortable, like the way he's touching Mike's face. I was like, hey man. Like it seemed like as Mike is drugged up and like, he's like, here's my chance for a smooch. And he's trying to get his head to turn towards him. It was a little weird. Yeah.
A new spaceship shows up. We see it coming from space, and we get like a long shot of the spaceship arriving, and it sends over a shuttle. It's got the Supreme Commander of the fleet, and it's another hot lady.
Which also, what the fuck happened to John? Wasn't John the Supreme Commander?
He's the Supreme Commander of the mission. She's the Supreme Commander of the fleet.
There's too many commanders. Like,
so she's like, that's how it is in the Navy. Like, there's a million admirals.
No, I get it, but like for a TV show, you don't need to. We are now 4 episodes into this, essentially. We are 7 hours in, and they're like, by the way, here's another bad guy who we forgot to mention. John's just not going to show up anymore. For whatever reason, we can't afford John for more than like 20 minutes for every 2 episodes. So he's just not here. So we're going to bring in Ursa from Superman 2.
Well, the thing is, so here's the thing is that John is in charge of the whole deal, and so he's over in New York. That's like seems to be, or Washington. That seems to be where he is. And so this woman is coming just to oversee Los Angeles because Los Angeles is a real problem for the visitors. Yeah. And so it's like a big deal. I have a lot of interesting questions about like their travel. At one point, this lady does tell Diana how many miles away they are from the home world.
Some trillion light years or something. Yeah,
I did the conversion. It's 9. Well, some trillion miles. It's 9.5 light years.
Okay.
So it's not super close, but it's not like crazy far away. But it's not super close. So, but at 9.5 light years, they could not be getting reports back about fucked up Los Angeles shit and then make it out there.
You don't know that.
This has not been 9 years.
They do it in Star Trek all the time. We don't know
I'm
what
saying
kind of sci-fi stuff they have.
They have some kind of sci-fi stuff. I'm interested in what it might be. We don't really know.
Yeah.
So she wants all this shit sped up, and she's like, I brought a bunch of engineers. Also, there's like a lot of like, I mean, again, the reason why they brought a new hot lady in is because they want to have 2 hot ladies having a fight. That's what they want.
They also decided they wanted a scene where they're walking up a spiraling metal staircase, but didn't care about the sound because you can't hear anything over their clacking feet. I was like, why would you do this? This is terrible.
The sound in this show, this second miniseries, is pretty bad a lot.
It's really bad. It's really bad.
It's really echoey in Eleanor's house. Like, it's like really not good. And I don't usually notice that stuff, and it's like bad enough that I notice.
The staircase thing I just couldn't get over. Whereas like you didn't even ADR the conversation like afterwards, like. Or like why? What are you doing? You had to know that this was on set. Somebody had to be like, "Hey guys, this is really loud. Their shoes against the stairs, the metal stairs are really loud. Maybe we should shoot this somewhere else." And like, no. The sound is hard to hear, and it's a boring shot. It's perfect. It's insane.
But remember, this is like the era of Dallas, like when like cat fights were happening, like between like 2 hot ladies. So that's what they're going for. That's why they brought her.
Ursa's got a great bit where because Diana's like, you know, the supreme leader he's into me, so you can come and try and give me orders, but I'm his girl. And Ursa's like, you think he sent you a trillion miles away because he loves you? Really? That's your theory?
She's also
love that.
She's also like, you think you're the only one fucking him? Like, that's the other thing. Like, that's our other piece of it. It's like, you think you're the only one fucking him? So that's what happened. They want to get all of the water from Southern California immediately, which doesn't seem like it would be that hard.
30 days it's going to take.
We have real problems with water here in Southern California. We're piping it in from other places.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that seems like a pretty easy thing to do. We cut back to the camp, and Robin has morning sickness, and her scales have gotten way worse.
I do think it's very important to point out that when they were leaving the other base, they made sure to pack up their circus decorations.
I knew you were going to say that because, yes, there's once again circus horrible clown shit on the walls.
What is going on?
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah, it's really awful. So she's having morning sickness, and she sees these scales that have really grown. Like, her whole chest is covered in scales. So she decides that she's going to kill herself. And
first she decides to puke in the sink, which puke in the toilet, people. Do not puke in the sink.
I puked in
the toilet. You shouldn't. That's a horrible place to puke.
I know. I don't do it on purpose. I do it because I have no option.
The toilet and the sink, they're right next to each other. They're always right next to each other.
I have no option. Like, sometimes I just have... I also puked in a bathtub, too.
The toilet's right there. It's right there.
I don't know. I have also peed in all three of those things.
The peeing's different. Because that's just going to go right down the drain.
You're a sink pisser?
I've never pissed in a sink. But in the shower, sure, of course.
I have pissed in a number of sinks back when I was drinking. There's a whole subreddit for sink pissers.
Great, good for them. Again, that goes right down the drain. There's no problem.
Yeah, but
it's the chunky vomit, pukes.
Yeah, the chunky vomit. Yeah, but we're really just like, I think, making just the most appetizing podcast imaginable here.
Because Robin's not cleaning up.
No, she's definitely not cleaning up.
They're gonna go get Polly, and by Polly, you gotta go clean up. And Polly's like, "Fuck, I got 2 lines in this episode."
She runs the hot water, which is smart, but what she really wants to do is she wants to get into a tub, really, like, because the hot water, the premise of the heat is that it's going to keep the wound open so she can bleed out. And then she has a razor. The actress Blair Tefkin does not sell what's happening here.
No.
Which is that the baby in her belly will not allow her to kill herself.
Yeah.
She just seems like she's hesitating.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't sell. So later on when she says this, I'm like, wait, really? That's what was happening here?
Yeah.
But the dad shows up, and he's like, hey, everybody, I'm a surgeon now. So just... So I was an anthropologist. And then I was an anthropologist, then I was an anesthesiologist, and this week I'm going to be a surgeon. Who knows what I'll be doing next week?
I'm really hoping that in the next episode, the third and final episode of Be the Final Battle, that there's a moment at the end where he's like, by the way, guys, I never told anyone this. I never even graduated high school. I've been making up all the stuff my whole life, and people just keep believing me when I say I know I'm these things.
He comes in, he busts in the bathroom, and she's like, this thing won't even let me kill myself. I can't even die. We cut back up to Julie and Diana, and this time in her head, there's a puppet. There's a giant puppet coming down a miniature hallway. I fucking loved the giant puppet. Like,
it's great.
Could not have loved. It looked so dumb. And then they have a snake too. Like, there's like a snake, but it's just a regular snake. Like,
and it might have been in the last sequence of this, I can't remember, but they also have like a puppet that they throw on her.
Yeah, they throw a puppet on her.
That is like not connected to anything. She's just holding it onto her and struggling with it, which was great. And it looked like it was like really just like they took like a balloon and put like a green sheet over it and like fight this thing. I mean,
it was, her dream sequences are some of the most MST3K moments in all 5 episodes of V. Like
100%.
Really just total MST.
I would so love if MST did all 5 episodes of V and V the Final Battle.
I mean, it'd be good. They got a lot.
So much.
They got a lot to work with.
They really do.
So she's going into cardiac arrest, and then all of a sudden Mike comes out of nowhere, and he comes in and he shoots a bunch of guys. He breaks the window to the conversion chamber. Diana's in there because Diana's just about to break her. She's like, I can stop this, and she's like, yes, mommy, whatever you want. Very psychosexual, by the way. Very very hot, frankly. But so Mike comes in, and is he going to shoot Julie?
Possibly.
I felt like he was going to shoot Julie, which is honestly the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
But what ends up happening is that he gets immediately shot dead.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's immediately killed. And then the next scene, they're like, he's dead. Like, the head of the resistance is dead. The resistance is crippled. Everything is fucked. And then this is where Ursa and Diana have a long talk about sex for power, where Ursa's like, you're so fucking lame. Like, you think that, like, sex can get you power, but it only gets you so far. Your ambition is much too much. Like, you can't use sex to get where you want to go. And that's when Diana's like, well, how about you? I know you fucked the Supreme Leader. And she's like, well, I know how to get my ambition. Like, I know how to do it. And they go into the morgue to go look at Mike because there's like, they're like, hey, you got to come take a look at this. And Mike was a visitor wearing a Mike mask the whole time. Not the whole time, but the whole scene.
Yeah.
And so now they're like, fuck, we had heard reports of Fifth Column on other ships, but now it's here. And Diana's like, I refuse to have Fifth Columnists on my ship. Like, we're going to fucking smoke these guys out. And then we cut.
Also, I want to point out real quick.
Yeah.
That when they pull the fake skin off of fake Mike, the lizard skin underneath is real dried out looking, which I really liked. Because other times we've seen it when they pull it, it's got moist. Like a wet to it, moist to it.
Yep.
Like here, he's dead, so it's dried out. I was like, that's kind of great. That's like
I actually
really
like
touch.
that they show her that he's got the skin, and then she moves the dead guy's head to tear off skin from the other cheek just to make sure. She needs to double check for herself.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I really do like that.
I like then they cut away and they cut back and his whole face is off and he's got like the horns.
Yeah.
And it's like, how does that hide under the skin?
Well, his fucking contact lenses are out too.
Yes.
He's just a straight up visitor at that point. We cut to Daniel. Daniel's banging that lady who is Resistance, who met him at the medical center last episode. And he has his bedroom sucks. It's got almost nothing in it except for a visitor's poster. Like, it really sucks. And she's a honeypot. And boy, is Daniel stupid. Daniel is just like, let me tell you everything that's happening at the security building this week, including times.
There's a part I really want to be like, wait, slow down. I got to write this down. Hold on.
Well, I got to say, she's really smart because he's like, oh, yeah, there's doing a prisoner exchange. They're bringing down Julie. And the woman is like, oh, that's so boring. Who cares about that?
Yeah.
And that is what like makes him want to give her more info because he's trying to impress her. And she's like, I don't really pay attention to politics. And he's like, good, you shouldn't. But we then cut back to the cop. The cop is at the base, and he's super fucking mad. He's doing guard duty, and Elias takes out some coffee for him. By the way, so many of these characters have nothing to do anymore. Like, Elias has nothing to do.
Elias and his dad do nothing.
Yeah.
And it's so upsetting. It is so upsetting.
Because I really liked them in the first miniseries.
They're great in the first miniseries, and they do nothing in the last episode. There's a scene, we'll get to it. Elias is asleep throughout an entire scene in this show. We'll get to it. And I could not stop laughing. I was like, everyone's having a conversation, and the actor clearly fell asleep while they were filming because he had nothing to do.
So the cop is really upset that his girlfriend is banging Daniel, and he's like, just the idea of him touching her. And Elias gives him the talk where he's like, listen, bro, probably isn't that great for her either. But also everybody's got to kind of do their part. Like, if we're going to beat these lizards, everybody's got to do their part. And cop guy is like, okay, I'll take that to heart for a minute, because the next scene, as Ham and his fat buddy are handing out the new ammo to everybody, the cop and the girl, I don't even know either of their names, by the way. Do you?
No, I couldn't tell you.
They're in the back and they're arguing, and it's really ramping up to a domestic violence situation. Like, very quickly ramping up to a domestic violence situation, which, by the way, that's like the number one thing that cops do at home is commit domestic violence. That is one of their main hobbies. So this is, thank God for the show for being very realistic in this. And so he's like grabs her by the arm and shit, and she's like, I don't want to talk about this, and she's like, I hated doing that. Like, you think I like this? And he's like, we're going to talk about it right now. And that's when the fat guy steps in, and he has a really good line here, and because the cop's like, get out of here, buddy, and the fat guy's like, do you really think I couldn't change your whole life in a minute?
Yeah, it's great.
That's a really good line.
Yeah.
That's a great threat. They also do I think a thing I like a lot with tough characters is that his threat is like very even. Like, he's not like angry or like menacing.
Nope, he's just like, very straight to the fact. Like, hey, like, man,
I could kill you right now.
Yeah,
very
this is not going to work for you.
Yeah. So
I'm a more important character. I've only been in like 15 minutes of the show. You were in the first season, in theory.
Ruby is getting ready to go to work. She's putting on all her makeup. She has like a heavy makeup regime to play an old lady. She's already an old lady. She's got a very heavy regime to put on an old lady.
Understand why.
Well, the reason why we find out here is because she's from the theater.
But she did it in the... Well, yeah, but like, I mean, like, in general, because she did it in the first miniseries as well. She put on like a fake nose and stuff.
Because she's a theater lady, so she kind of loves doing that. Like, I actually like that they actually gave like a little bit of background for her here, like why she does that, and it's because she loves the theater. She was like, the New Yorker gave her a rave review as the nurse in Romeo and Juliet, and Ham comes in to give her like to talk to her about like the mission and like, you know what to do, you know how to do this, and this is when Ham reveals that he actually saw this famous actress in the role on the West End in London. And she's like, wow, you're not as much of a brute as I thought you were. Like, what turned you into this? And he's like, well, when you come back from this mission, I will tell you my story. And this is one of the most you're dead scenes I've ever seen in anything. There's actually two of them in this episode that I wanted another character to come on screen and go, stop saying this. Stop saying this right now.
Shut up.
Because when the cop is like, as soon as we're done with this mission, we're going to get married. I'm like, why would you say that? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man?
I'm 22 minutes away from retirement. This is great. Yeah.
Yeah, but like Ruby gets like such a fucking death scene.
She gets a great death scene. Yeah.
So we now have everybody sneaking to security HQ. She's going to plant bombs somewhere in there to take out the generator. And while she's like running around being a cleaning lady, Daniel bumps into her and he's like, hey, don't I know you from somewhere? And she's like, no, I'm just an old lady. So she has to go get into this elevator to go to like...
Which, by the way, that means her makeup's not that good. He recognized her right away.
I mean, maybe he just knows her kind eyes.
Or maybe he's like, you're clearly wearing makeup. Why? You have a fake nose on. Why? What is going on?
She goes and has to break into this security elevator. Do you think that's the same key? Do you think they're just using this one key opens everything in the visitor world?
No, I don't. I thought about that. I don't think it's the same key. I think
because Christine had it, right? So she probably couldn't have got it back to them.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a new key. They stole a new key.
I imagine that what's his face is giving them a couple of keys.
Martin.
Martin is giving them a couple. Too many M names in the show.
But it does raise the question still, though. Is it just one key? Like,
no,
if you have one key, do you just get into everything?
I mean, I bet there's probably like not, like keys that are set to, because there's some kind of digital key. It's not like you turn something. You just slide it in. So it's probably like some kind of key card thing where it's like this person has access to this.
They can get into anything that is below this level. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's going to get into this elevator, and another visitor guard shows up, and he's like, "What are you doing? You're not supposed to be in that elevator."
Which, by the way, the Ham scene with her was him bringing her a wrench.
Yes.
And being like, remember, hit him in the back of the head.
Yes. So she's like, "Oh, I'm just doing my job." He's like, "You're not supposed to be in this elevator." She goes, "Oh, I was told to make this one real sparkling clean for Steven and Diana." And the guy's like, "Well, where's your security clearance?" And so she's like, "Oh, I don't know where it is." And then she sprays him in the face with something, and I'm assuming it's some
water.
Is it water?
No, I'm guessing it's like a
acid
Windex or something.
Or an acid, right?
Or an acid, yeah. Something that hurts him, it burns him.
Well, here's the thing, is that he's got a layer of rubber on his face and contact lenses in his eyes. So, like, it's got to be, like, something. I don't know what would actually work.
I mean, I have contacts in my eyes. I feel like if you sprayed Windex into my face and it got in my eyes, it would burn even with contacts.
That's a good point.
You know?
And then she does, in fact, hit him in the back of the head with the wrench. We then cut to Diana and Martin and Steven coming down in a shuttle, and they have Julie on board, and she's in a visitor uniform.
Yeah, that's pretty
They
cool.
really just skip over this, by the way.
That she's in a visitor uniform?
Yeah, like, I think it's, like, really cool, and I think later on, like, I think the show has a lot of the characters really just jump over the fact that you can't trust her anymore. She's, in fact, the only character who keeps that in mind at a certain point is her.
She's the only one concerned about it. Yeah. She's the only one. It's real weird.
But, like, I would have liked to have seen everybody see her in this uniform and, like, have weird feelings or something. You know what I mean? Like, and because she looks good in the uniform, too. Sure. So Ruby sets up the explosives. They blow the explosives. Mike tells Ham, you got to shoot Martin in the leg because we got to take him out, like, in a way that's convincing, but we don't want to kill him because he's our inside guy. And so Martin does.
Ham says, from this distance, I could cut him in half. And I wanted Mike to say, no, you can't. You have a handgun. You can't, like, what are you talking about? You're holding a handgun.
And it's
like
silent.
A revolver.
And it's silence, which means that it's moving slower than a normal bullet. Yeah. So they open fire. I like that they have crossbows.
I think that's very cool.
And it's really cool, and it makes a lot of sense because the crossbow is silent. So, like, when you're doing these kinds of missions, it's a great way to kill guys without making a fucking huge noise. The reality is, even a silenced gun is modestly
It's still loud. Yeah, it's still loud.
Like in movies and TV, there never are. But
there's definitely a thing of, like, in this sequence, they're just attacking from the front.
Yes.
So I don't know why they're being so silent, but it's cool. Like,
no,
I
it's
like
cool.
the crossbow stuff. And it does give us a great thing that I feel like has disappeared from movies and TV shows, which is you shoot somebody from the front, and if they're on top of a building, they automatically jump off forward instead of falling back after they get shot.
Yeah, that's classic. That's back when they actually were fucking putting stuntmen to work.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, stuntmen came to work and had a thing to do that day. There was no fucking digital doubles. No, they were just jumping off fucking balconies all day long.
God, well, I can't remember what it was in, but it was Seth Rogen talking about Action Jackson and how you can tell it's directed by the director was a stuntman because every single person falls from heights. Like every scene is just people falling from great heights. Because it's like, fuck it, we're all stuntmen, we're gonna do it.
We love doing that. They probably love
or like jumping through windows and stuff. And it's like, it's just fucking let's do it. You know.
So the attack happens. They get Julie, but unfortunately Daniel runs into Ruby, and he's going to take her upstairs to, like, he still thinks that he knows who she is, and she's still saying no. What did we miss?
My favorite Daniel line, because Daniel walks up to, like, one of the other visitors, like a guard, and he's like, "Where's the cleaning lady?" And the guard's like, "I don't know who you're talking about." Daniel whines, "The old woman, the cleaning lady." Like, why is he whining?
The best thing about that is there's an old woman cleaning lady in the background.
Yes,
I wish he had the guard had been like, she's right over here. This lady, she's 10 feet away.
6 of them right here. Like, can you be more specific?
So he runs into Ruby, and he's going to take her upstairs. And I guess Daniel's plan is to drag her up by her hair because
he's a horrible person.
He snatches her wig, and that's when he realizes this is Ruby. And we have, like, honestly, a very great scene.
Yes.
I think that V the Final Battle is a huge step down from V.
Yeah.
But there are good scenes, and this is a really good scene. And
this is a fantastic scene.
And she's like, "You know what, Daniel? I don't think you're going to do this because I've known you since you were a little boy, and you were a sweet little boy, and I don't believe anybody can change and become, you know, that cruel. So I just don't think you're going to do it." And so she just starts walking up the steps, and he's like, "Stop or I'll shoot." And she goes, "I don't think you will, Daniel. I think that you're too good a person." And he's not. He shoots her in the back.
Shoots her right in the back. She falls down the stairs.
Yeah, I really liked it a lot. I liked her.
Good use of a spiraling staircase, by the way. This is a good scene with the spiraling
old lady tumbling down a spiraling staircase. Always excellent.
Pretty great.
But I like that whole idea that she's seeing the best in him, and then the show was like, no, there is no best in this guy. This guy is just scum.
There's no coming back for him.
We then cut to her funeral, and this made me wonder, like, did they get her body? How do they do that?
No, I think they're just having a symbolic funeral.
You think so?
Yeah, because I thought about that too. I was like, "There's no way they got her body. Like, that'd be weird. Like, how did they get it?" But no, I think it's just a symbolic.
How many people do you think are in the Resistance in LA?
According to this episode, about 15. Because we never see really much anyone else. It's kind of strange.
At this funeral, it's just the main characters. Like there's like not any background guys. And I know
I do like that Ham's buddy, when they all like go to hold hands, Ham's buddy's like, I'm not holding anybody's hands. This is stupid. I appreciated that.
I love that a lot. But like I know that they lost a lot of guys at the end last episode. They lost a lot of guys. And then they had some bad experiences. I don't know what makes it want to do the thumb. But like I feel like there should be more than like 15 people in this cell. I just feel like it seems really small to me.
Yeah, I agree.
So they are going to do then we see Sean. Sean gets taken out of the goop. Yeah. And he's okay. He remembers his name.
He's got some serious camel toe going.
He does. That's actually called a moose knuckle on a guy.
I guess on a guy it's moose knuckle. Yeah, he's got some serious moose knuckle going.
Do you think that in this day and age that you're talking about the moose knuckle of a 13-year-old is the ideal thing to do?
No, I will say when they first pulled him out, I didn't realize he was wearing a bodysuit, like the flesh tone bodysuit, and they kept lifting him up. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa! Like I was like, whoa.
So Sean is alive and he is okay. At least he remembers his name. And they did it.
They're like, finally, we know what this kid's name is.
They did it, exactly. That's why when Brian asks, what's your name? He's actually just curious. He's not trying to find out. I don't know who you are.
What's going on?
I don't know who the fuck you are.
It's a week in this room.
Like a lot of time has passed. Like there's like a not insignificant amount of time. We've had like a mission, a planning, like a whole bunch of other stuff happening. So
they moved to a whole new base.
They're doing an attack plan. So the deal is that Julie's like, hey, so I found out, Martin told me while I was up there that the plan is to just drain all of Southern California's water. They had this one plant. We got to go stop it. And then while they're having this conversation in the saloon, they hear a visitor go, everyone in there, freeze. And they all freak out. And it's just Ham. And Ham has a voice box.
They walk up and they can't, like through the frosted windows of the saloon, they can see their silhouettes.
Yeah.
But they can't see who it is. So not until the door opens and it's Ham and his boy do they know it's them. As they're walking up with their silhouettes, everyone in there has guns pointed. They could just open fire and murdered them.
I feel like they should have cut both these guys to pieces with their bullets 100%, especially because they're probably loaded with Teflon bullets that probably will just rip them to shreds. Yeah. No, I agree. I would thought that this was not a smart move. Maybe Ham's whole thing is that he knows that nobody in this fucking resistance is like reasonably skilled or good.
I mean, in fairness, everything he's seen is like they can't shoot anything.
They can't. This is the gang that couldn't shoot straight over here.
Yeah.
So he has two voice boxes, and he's like, okay, we're going to use these to infiltrate the water plant and do a recon. And Julie's like, well, I want to go, and Ham's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like you're compromised. And she says like I'm the leader of this group and I'm not just going to step down because you showed up. And so I like that this is moving her arc forward because remember we had so many episodes where she wasn't so sure about being the leader and now she's owning it. However, this is the worst possible time because she definitely is potentially a visitor now.
Well, like Elias's dad is like, I don't know, you went through the conversion process and you're saying it didn't work and I trust you, but can you, like, he's like, I don't know if you were in the right mindset to be the leader. And then everyone else is like, I think she's okay. He's like, fine, I guess, cool. Like, I guess.
Sure, why not? Yeah, okay.
Okay. And in 5 minutes, she's going to be like, I don't remember which hand I use. Like, it's clear she's not doing well.
So her and Mike get into a visitor Oldsmobile. And there's a van, there's like a conversion van that is just like looks like shit, and it's got like the visitor symbol on the side of it. I'm like, what? Like you honestly couldn't find a better picture car than that? Like it's like wild to me that this is what the visitors are driving around in.
That's just the van that they're using to bring extras to like set.
That doesn't even look like a van you would use to bring extras to set. They have nicer vans for that. Like that looks like a van that they got from the fucking junkyard, frankly.
Yeah.
So they show up. The voice boxes do work. They're able to get through security.
There's a good joke here.
What's that?
Which is when they park and Julie is kind of like looking off in the distance, and Mike says, "Are you okay?" And they got the voice boxes, and she says, "Yeah, I'm okay." And he says, "You don't sound okay." I like that. That made me laugh.
Mike doing dad jokes.
Yes. And as Shane pointed out to me, Mike you can see his choker for his voice box, because unlike Julie, he refuses to zip up his shirt even when he's being a visitor. So like,
when Ham,
come on, dude.
When Ham first shows up and Mike comes out, he's got his fucking shirt unbuttoned like almost to his navel. It is like, Mike, come on.
Yeah.
Put those.
But here he's supposed to be like one of the visitors in a uniform, and he's still got it open.
Well, so here's the thing about Mike. We know that he is the worst undercover operator.
Yes.
Like, we know he's terrible, and he continues to be terrible, by the way. So, like, they're wandering around, and he is just gawking at everything. Like, come on, Mike. Like, pretend like you're supposed to be here. Don't act like you've never seen anything before.
Yes.
And he's always, like, looking at everybody, like, furtively. Like,
Can
Julie's
I,
being very
for
cool.
the YouTube crowd, do my Mike impression?
Yeah, do it.
This is Mike Donovan moving around secretly. You ready?
Okay, you ready? I'm ready. Derek is getting up from his chair. He took off his his headphones. He is off screen, and he's doing a wild ass little sneaky walk, and then leaping back and forth, wild eyed, looking off into the distance. That's a very good one. Derek is now returning. That was a very good Mike Donovan impression.
Thank you.
That was he's terrible. But I feel like this might have been Beastmaster's like acting decision though.
I think it's funny. There's not much I can call on from Mark Singer in live action.
Right.
V is really my thing for him. And so in my mind, this is how he always is in everything. I have no idea. It's V, and he is Kirk Langstrom in Batman the Animated Series. No, those are my two touchstones for him. So
the fact that Julie is not being weird and is just walking like a person, I think it indicates that the directors were not telling him to do this. That I think that this is his choice. Like Mike is,
but
not.
He does it even in scenes where they're just walking around.
That's a good point.
He's always walking like kind of at an angle and stuff. It's weird.
They go and start checking things out. There's all these big pipes, and the pipes lead directly up to a mothership. And it's a pretty cool matte painting, frankly.
Yes.
I liked it. And it made sense.
I was the one guard who's standing on a thing that, like, there's no way for him to get down from.
Yeah, I know.
Which I appreciate it. And he sees him. He's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And they're like, "Oh, we're checking for cracks." He's like, "Get out of here." You think he'd be like, "Well, I'm up here, so please make sure there's no cracks, because I will die."
It's kind of funny because that's their whole thing. They're engineers looking for stability stuff, which makes a lot of sense. Like it turns out they're pumping 1 million gallons of water a second, so you definitely want to make sure everything is working. But this guy's like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And they're like, "All right." So they go into the pumping station, and there's this catwalk. We're gonna get a lot of catwalk in this episode. Yes. One of the main, if you use a Lego set for V the Final Battle episode 2, one of the sets will be catwalk.
Oh, for sure.
Because we have a lot of action.
They must have been so psyched when they were doing location scouting and they came across this place and they were like, "Oh my God, this catwalk that just like does not really connect to anything, but it's against the wall from far away. We can shoot from far. It's cool looking. Good to go."
So Mike is taking pictures. They are so obvious up on this catwalk. If anybody looked up, and Mike's taking he's got a Super 8 camera, and at one point she's like, "Take a picture of that control panel," and he just takes a picture of a wall.
He takes a picture of a wall, but first he's like, "Go stand next to it. Let's get a real nice shot."
But he centers a wall in that pic. I was like, "What the fuck is going on, Mike? How dumb are you?"
Well, he's not a photographer. Oh wait, no, he is a photographer.
He is a photographer.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. No, he's just maybe really bad at his job.
We cut back. They have come home, and they're in a train car, and Julie's combing her hair, and she realizes she's using her left hand. If you remember from the first miniseries, the conversion therapy makes you left-handed. And she comes out to find Mike topless, putting away his visitor uniform. And we have a romance, and we have sex going on in the background and stuff. It is wild. This is library music, if I ever heard library music.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like,
Yeah. What I do appreciate that they start making out, and then they lay down in the bed. But Mike, he's a good Christian boy. He keeps one foot on the ground. That way God won't get angry.
So the thing is, the cop is directly outside the train car, and everybody else is at dinner. So I do feel like, because everybody's sleeping in these train cars, it's a dorm. Like there's no rooms, so they're just in a dorm. I'm not even convinced that's their beds.
It's somebody's bed.
They just get on a bed. Like I'm not even convinced that either one of them has that bed, but they're gonna bone on it.
Yeah,
and they're gonna bone with the cop right outside, and anybody could come back in any moment from dinner.
Yeah.
It seemed maybe that's like part of the appeal for them, but you'd have to be very quiet because otherwise the cop hears like, and he's like, "What's going on in there?" That would be a very good scene, actually. Do we need to talk about the Mike Julie age gap?
Is there an age gap? I don't know.
Yeah, she's a grad student.
I guess, yeah, she's
in
a
her,
grad
she's
student.
in her early 20s. It's established in the first miniseries, and he's definitely in his 30s.
Yeah.
Which it's not a big deal, but like these days, it might be enough to make Mike have to resign from his role in the Resistance, depending on who hears about it. Willie's getting surgery. What do you think he's getting surgery for?
He doesn't even know because he wakes up and they're like, "You've just had surgery," and he's like, "Was this in the script? What's going on?"
I mean, this is one of those scenes where you're like, "Oh, they just skipped a whole thing. They just skipped something."
They were like, "Why would Willie be in the medical center for this scene? What if he just had surgery? Sure, why not?"
But
like,
I feel like
instead of like they're just taking more of his blood.
That's the thing.
Like,
I mean, maybe they were doing like a surgery to like look at his musculature or something. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't like a fixing surgery.
He's running around and he like really ripped him open.
Well, yeah. I mean, the priest is like, "Don't get up," and he's like, "No, help me up."
I'm fine. Yeah.
But yeah, like I was like, "But why is Willie?" I mean, I guess they had opened up his back last episode when they
they didn't
captured him.
They opened up his fake skin.
But maybe they were doing shit to his back, like taking scales.
But they said surgery.
Yeah, I know.
And again, they're telling him you just had surgery.
Yeah, I know.
So they didn't like, this wasn't like something was wrong. This was like, they were like, "What are you doing tonight?" "I got no plans." "You want to, I don't know, do some surgery on Willie for fun?" "Sure. Let's knock him out and tell him later."
And when you say surgery, that makes it sound much more serious. Like you would say like procedure if you is not that like getting like something removed is a procedure, but surgery that's like a whole thing. So Robin goes into a seizure, and Willie's like, "Oh, I know this. This was what happens to our women when they're pregnant and about to give birth." And then he goes and does the world's dumbest hand motions on the small of her back.
He's just doing like a screwdriver move on her back. He's like,
he's like, "You have to tighten this screw over here." That's what this. It's loose. You got a loose unit over here. This, by the way, indicates that the visitors do give birth in a mammalian way.
Yeah.
Like if that's a thing, like they're not just depositing eggs. So the visitor's like a weird combination of mammals and reptiles.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting, actually.
It's very interesting. I mean, we already know that they have like Brian's got a dick. We knew that, right? Like they boned. So there's stuff going on. There's weird stuff happening.
It's pretty weird, man. It's pretty weird.
I would love, instead of having surgery, I would love for one of them like, "Willie, do you poop? How's this work? Let's see
Well, I'll tell you how it works with lizards. You have to keep it warm, otherwise their poop gets stuck. They need warmth to poop.
Maybe that's why he needed surgery, because they just left him in that train car.
And he was all compacted. Yeah,
it got too cold. Yeah,
it's possible. They have a meeting on how to blow up the plant, and part of the meeting is watching a snuff film. And
who recorded this?
I know, it's from so many angles.
It is like, and they're like, they caught this guy and threw him down there. It's like, but first they hired like an entire film crew to set it up. I've been so confused.
I don't even know what's happening here. Like, it's like so weird. Like, I don't even mind that like Ham has this footage, but like if the footage was clearly security footage, if it was security footage, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if it was security.
I guess if it was just like a security camera footage, I'd be okay with it. But the different angles and stuff, he has to get this.
This is edited. Like, yeah,
it is produced. It's color timed.
Well, the best part is one of the angles is as they're going to throw this guy into these lasers, it's straight onto his face. They throw him towards the camera. Like,
so they did multiple things.
What the fuck is this? It's so crazy. So nuts.
They were like, "All right, take one and push him towards the camera. It was a little out of focus. All right, do it again. Yeah.
So
oh my god.
It turns out that they got to sneak in through this tunnel, but the tunnel has super lasers in it, except for 12 minutes a day during shift change. And the super lasers will immediately evaporate you. This is like a real 1960s special effect. It's a real Star Trek special effect.
Sure.
Where he hits the lasers and then he like turns into red and then he just disappears. And so we watch that happen, and that's like... so that's number one, our big problem. Number two, the fat guy has created a new explosive.
Probably shouldn't have a name for that guy.
Do you want to find his name?
I recognize the actor, and I can't remember what from. I mean, obviously, primarily I know him from V, but I know that I've seen him in other stuff.
Well,
I can't remember his name.
I keep saying fat guy because if I say fat man, then people might think it was Jake and the Fat Man.
Or he's just an atomic bomb.
Can you imagine Jake and the Fat Man being on television today?
No. There's many shows from like the past I can't imagine being on television today.
There's some, but like the title, you can't have that title. It can't be Jake and the Fat Man. Like I just think you couldn't. Maybe you could. Maybe It's Always Sunny proves that you actually can do more than we think we can do.
Chris, by the way, is the character's name. Chris Farber, played by Mickey Jones.
I wish they would give any characters on the show.
Spring Blade.
I wish they would give any of the characters on the show a memorable name. Just any character.
Died in 2018.
The new visitor, Ursa, her name is Pamela. Like, really? That's the name you came up with, is Pamela?
Yeah, they're very boring names. They're not good at.
So
Mike Donovan's a good name, I think.
Mike Donovan's a good name. Mike Donovan's a good name. Ham Tyler's a good name. We have a couple of good names in there, you know? So this new explosive, the deal is that because the all these pipes and shit are so big that it would take like a whole truckload of explosives to blow them up. So he had to invent this new explosive that is incredibly sensitive. And
which, by the way, first he throws it to Mike, who almost misses it and doesn't catch it. And then Ham is like, this stuff's really not volatile, not stable, so don't shake it. It's like, well, don't fucking throw it at people. How about that? How about we start there?
I think the actual thing is temperature, because that becomes the thing.
That becomes the main thing.
You have to be between 60 and 70 degrees, right? That's the range. And like he says 1 degree above that, it'll blow up. It doesn't, by the way.
No, later on they say 72 and they're fine. I think he's like even that, like later on which I like when they're planting it and the priest says to Ham, he's like, hey, it's hot in here. It's dangerous. And Ham's like, just get it done. And then he walks over to Chris and is like, hey, it's hot in here. And Ham's like, yeah, it's gonna blow up in a minute.
They have this new explosive, and the mission is going to be to sneak into the water plant and then plant these explosives and blow the joint. Outside, the cop finds his girlfriend, and they make up. And
first, everyone slowly walks out. This is the 30-second shot of everyone just walking out slowly. So that then the last two coming out can be Ham and Mike, and Mike's like, "Do you think this is gonna work?" And Ham's like, "I don't know." Cut to the next scene, and it's like, "What was that? Like, what a waste of time."
Well, also at one point, Ham's like, "You trust her, Julie?" And Mike's like, "Yeah, of course I do."
Yeah,
and he's like, "Good,
she's your partner."
Your partner, yeah. Which doesn't make any sense because they're really not really split up that much, frankly. They all go in and out together. They just split up like for.
No, they go into different areas.
But when they get in.
Yeah,
they're not coming in from different angles. They're all coming in.
I mean, I think that's what it means. Like she's your partner when we get in there, and everyone's got to go to different spots.
Yeah,
right.
So the cop and the girlfriend make up. He's like, "Hey, sorry, it just really hurt, and I really care about you, and you're my favorite person. Hey, we should get married." And so this is the doom speech. This is like one of those like, "Oh, you're fucked, bro. Like, don't do this." Yeah. He's like, "Will you marry me?" She says, "Yes." He says, "As soon as we get back from this mission, let's have a wedding." So now we have another sneak attack, and what?
Do you have the notes open?
Yeah.
I put in an image, and you're gonna have to put this into the Patreon, I believe. The way Mike is wearing his hoodie, I could not stop laughing. It is like covering his mouth. I don't understand what happened. Like he looks so uncomfortable. You have to put the image.
Yeah, he's really got it. Really, he's really
in the Patreon.
He looks like He looks like Kenny from South Park, honestly.
But also the way he's looking at Julie, who's like checking her gun, he has a look of like, "Mom, help me!" like my hood is all messed up. Like he looks so uncomfortable and confused.
It's very weird. So they have this sneak attack. They have a pretty good plan here, which is that they kill the guards on the guard tower, and then they have their own fake visitors to take their spot, so that nobody realizes that there's the guards are down.
There's one problem with their plan.
What's that?
They also have people just stand next to their visitor guard, who are not in visitor outfits.
Yeah, I know. That's I have to imagine.
I don't know
these guys
what
are
they're
gonna,
thinking.
Maybe they're gonna run downstairs or something like that.
I have no idea. I don't know.
But then when in this bit where they're shooting at these guys, Julie realizes that she's using her gun with her left hand, and she's very upset. She doesn't know. She's really feeling like she might be actually fucking compromised. They make it down to the laser hallway. They count down to the laser hallway turning off. They all go down the ladder, and then they have to run through the hallway. And they have like 12 minutes total to get in all the bombs and get out. They have 12 minutes. So it's like very much timed. So they go in, and Mike runs up to this guy who's on the catwalk and does a double kick to his face, like a swinging double kick. Nobody does these kinds of fun moves. He did that exact move, though, in the original miniseries.
Yes, which was cool. Yeah.
So that's like Mike Donovan's, that's Mike Donovan's, like, signature move.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So
it's really Mark Singer. So he's got some really good moves.
Yeah, no, he's an action guy. So everybody goes off and starts planting their bombs and shit like that. But then eventually a firefight breaks out. And so everybody's shooting, and
before there's a firefight, there's a guy who sees Julie and Mike on the catwalk, and like one of the visitors, and he's about to shoot them, and Elias comes in and hits the guy, and then throws him off the side of the catwalk, which seems to me like a very bad thing to do when the ground behind, like that he'll fall to, there's guys working, and you're trying to be quiet and secretive.
So here's the thing. They're not trying to be quiet because the premise is in this room, it's really loud. If you notice, the visitors are all wearing...
Yes.
They're wearing, like, earmuff headphones.
But you don't want to get caught is what I'm saying.
What I think, though, the problem is that the motion of a man falling off the catwalk is the kind of thing, especially lizards that are, like, really designed to, like, catch quick movement. They would all, like, kind of, like, catch
like, what? Huh? Yeah.
But no, Elias pushes him. He doesn't just fall. Elias pushes
him off the side. Yeah.
And it seems like a really... I have to assume that this guy landed behind some tank or something like that. Because Elias's whole thing seems to be he doesn't want him up on the catwalk, right? That seems to be
Yeah, I mean, Elias is trying to get rid of that guy, which that's fine. I get that. And considering that in a moment, just all of a sudden there's people shooting at everybody, that maybe somebody did see him. It was like, hey, look at that. Hey, Bill just fell.
Well, it's they forgot to bring their Metal Gear box to hide it.
Yes.
But also they are playing this level the way that I would play this level, which is
really just running through.
They just eventually fuck this. This is boring. I don't want to fucking keep sneaking. So we have this big firefight, and a lot of back and forth. Maybe too much back and forth. Again, the firefight, like the other one, kind of just goes and goes and goes.
Yeah.
They get back to the
this one they go so long that I thought Dad Maxwell was going to get killed.
Well, that's the thing. So he's 100%. So he's up on the catwalk, and he's shooting at guys, and they're shooting at him. He's behind like a thin fence, and these visitors cannot fucking get a shot. Like the pieces of the fence are really far apart from each other. Like it's just it's a rail.
Yeah.
He just keeps not getting shot. But also the angle that it's shot at is the angle you would shoot if the guy was going to do a stunt fall.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought for sure he was going down.
I mean, that might be like tension, like specific tension. Like we know that you know the visual language here.
Sure. Yeah.
Nothing would be lost if he got killed. But him and Elias both are like just getting shots winged at him. And like it goes on forever to the point where really, like you said, it feels like one of these guys got to get shot, but they don't. Yeah. However, the cop does get shot. So as they get to the end of the tunnel, the cop gets shot, and he realizes that he can't make it. And so he's...
In theory, the cop gets shot. Because he is not acting like he was shot. He's acting like he's just like, I'm tired. Like, he falls down, And then he says to the woman, like, almost like he's like, actually, I don't want to get married.
Yeah,
I better just die.
What was I thinking? What was I thinking?
You know what? I'm just going to die to get out of this. Because he falls down, and he's sitting there, and he's like, forget it, I'm not going to make it. And she's like, what? And he's like, it's just not going to work out. This is not going to work out. So I'm just going to stay here and die rather than marry you. This is not going to fix things.
I mean, I guess the premise is that because his leg is hurt, he can't get out of the tunnel in time.
He's not going to be able to run. But I get the idea.
And he probably also can't go up the ladder. So
Sure. But he's just not playing it like he's injured.
Right.
He's playing it like he's like, I'm just tired. I just don't want to go.
Well, the fiance doesn't want him, but Chris, the fat guy, drags her away, and Ham is like, "Love that you're killing yourself, bro." Like,
Ham's like, "This is fucking awesome, dude.
This is very cool, bro. This is very cool." And so he gives him an extra clip, and he's like, "You know what?" And the cop's like, "I'm gonna hold him off," and he does
not hold them off.
He does not. He shoots a couple of them, but they blow him away pretty quickly.
They take him down real fast. I love
it. Yeah. But it's long enough, you know what I mean? Because they are able to escape. So the bombs do go off, and the water starts rushing out. And it is so clear that they're using a mix of shots that they made and also shots that they got from like a library.
There's shots of like bridges being taken down by the water and just like random people floating through water. And it's like, did they just kill an entire town? No,
I mean, they just fucking picked, they said like who in the clip library do we have flood footage? And that's what they did. Because I think the scene with the bridge, if I'm not wrong, that car on the bridge looked pretty old to me. So I think that's like a pretty.
It was like like a 50s car or something. Like
that's what it looked like.
Yeah. They're just using stock footage stuff,
right?
You know, but like it's showing like houses being washed away and stuff, and it's like, so did they just by doing this just flood an entire town and just kill everyone?
Shit happens. It's war, baby.
I guess.
So they have put the water back, which is obviously going to make the visitors quite angry. This is when Mike asked. Then we cut them back to the base, and Mike asked Julie to be his girlfriend. He's like, "Will you wear my letter jacket?" Because he's like, you know what? Like, I have to imagine that after this, I'll have a life that's back to normal, and I want you to be part of that life.
I kind of like how this scene starts though, because she's like that cop was an idiot thinking he was going to get married. You can't plan ahead in this. And he's like, you have to have hope for things.
Right.
I like that. But then, he's like, will you wear my letter?
Yeah, like that's exactly the vibe. And she's like, buddy, I don't even know if I'm me anymore. Like, I'm using the wrong hand. Like, I feel weird. I don't ever feel like I'm where I am. Like, I don't know what's going on. And Mike's like, yeah, but you like to fuck though, right? Like, that's all that really matters to me.
We're still good with that, right?
As they're talking,
left hand, right hand, I don't care which one you're using.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference to me as long as you're jerking me off with it. Polly comes running up and is like, Mr. Donovan, you got to come see the TV. And everybody's they're in like a dining car.
Yes.
I like the dining car a lot, by the way.
This, again, if you look at the notes, you scroll down, you'll see my second photo that has to be included in the Patreon of Elias sleeping throughout the scene. He does not move from that position throughout this entire scene. That dude is just asleep. He is just asleep in the middle of the scene.
There's a special bulletin, and they played it twice in a row. And the special bulletin...
I actually really like that. Because Polly comes, or whoever comes to get them is like, hey, there's something you got to see on the TV. And they come in, and the TV is like, just so you know, this is the second time we're playing it. To make it clear that like everyone else already saw the thing,
right?
And that's why they went to get Mike. And I like that. I like it's stupid, but it's better than like you have to come in quick. They're about to do something on TV. They already know that this concerns Mike, and I like that.
So, what's really funny though is that it's Diana and Steven, and they have Sean, and they're like, so this boy wandered into our security center. We can't find his dad. If anybody can help find his dad, let us know. And then the voice is like, we're going to repeat this every hour on the hour. Like, what the like, it's so crazy. Like, I understand what they're doing. Like, I get it. Like, it's supervillain stuff. But it's like, imagine living in that world and being like, wait, this kid lost his dad and we're going to get a fucking update every hour? Like, what? It's going to...
What I like about it, it fits back into the giving Brian the photo, in this video, they're not like, what's your name? Where are you from? Things that might help people figure out how to, if they can help find who we're looking for. They're just like, here's a fucking kid. Anyone recognize?
This is a kid. I don't know.
Because you think they would be like, this is Mike Donovan's son.
So we then have another one of these bits where the show just jumps over a bunch of shit because like all of a sudden they're at Bronson Canyon and they're going to do an exchange, Sean for Mike, and Ham is there, and I'm just trying to figure out like how did Ham agree to this? Like this is an insane thing to do. Like they have snipers up on the rocks and shit, but like they're up against an alien force that has spaceships with lasers on them. Like, I feel like that this is a really crazy thing to do. And this is another classic Mike Donovan, I got to do things for me and not for the resistance. But Ham is there and like supporting, you know? And so there's Sean, he's in his little visitor uniform, and they do the switch, and they take Mike away.
I like at first the way it shot too. At first, I didn't realize they were really far from each other, the two groups.
Yeah, they're really
so like
far.
it seemed like they were like within like 10, 15 feet of each other. But like Steven and Diana are bickering, and Diana's like, "You fuck up everything. You're the worst." And Steven's like, "Fuck you." And I'm like, and then it cuts to Mike, Julian, and Ham, and I was like, "Are they just sitting there looking, like listening to them argue? What's happening?"
Yeah.
And then you see that they're like pretty far away from each other, so they can't hear what they're saying. But I at first thought they were just like, are you guys just gonna like what's going on? You guys gonna argue? What's happened?
I believe this is the location of the Batcave.
Oh, I bet it is.
It's because it's definitely Bronson Canyon and the Bronson Caves. I mean, and that's where the Batcave. I just don't remember exactly which of the caves was the Batcave, but I bet it's this one.
Oh, that's fun.
They shoot so much shit there. That's been closed for a long time, so you can't even go to it. So the other thing about this is like, in terms of the writing of the program, like we keep having characters go up to the ship and then come down from the ship. And I'm like, I don't, this is boring. Like we just got Julie back. Like we don't need to now have to go get Mike back. Like it just seems like story-wise just exhausting that we're continuously getting our guys captured.
Yes.
There's got to be another way to move the story forward than have our guys get captured all the time. Mike goes up onto the ship, and a visitor comes into his room that he's being held in, and the visitor and Mike do their passwords for the resistance. And he's like, "Oh, I'm so glad to have a friend up here." And this guy's name is Oliver, and Oliver's like, "Well, I'm not really going to be able to help you, buddy." And Mike's like, "Yeah, in fact, you probably got to kill me, don't you? Because I'm not going to. I don't want to talk, but like, I know they're going to make me." That's what he said when he left Ham and Julie behind. It was like, "You got to move now. Like, I don't want to talk, but like, I can't be sure that I won't." And so Oliver's like, "Well, the thing is that we're not executioners." So he gives him a suicide pill. He's like, "You're going to have to do it yourself." It's pretty great. I really like that a lot, actually.
He says it has to be your choice.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I like that. Yeah.
Although I do think you need to kill the guy. This is the opening of Rogue One. I mean, like, it's like you got to kill the guy. Like, there's a point when you're in a resistance or fifth column like this that you have to, your ideals and your morals are gonna get dirty. Like,
well, I mean, they're still pulling Chuck Schumer stuff where they're like, "We're against it, but we're not going to do anything about it."
Yeah. So it's like,
I mean, we're going to vote for Mark Wayne Mullen. Like, what are you going to do? You have to.
I don't like what Diana's policies are, but I'm going to continue the budget.
But I'm going to vote in favor of the budget because I can't let anyone think I'm against the troops.
Yeah. So as Mike is looking at this suicide pill, the visitors bust in and they kill Oliver. And Diana's like, "Oh, I knew it. I knew Oliver was one of these guys." She steps on the suicide pill and she's like, "Oh, Mike, you can't go to your death without a confession." And seems pretty bad for him. He's in this chair, and he's in
the chair that Mr. Maxwell was in, or Mr. Bernstein was in. Yeah.
Yes. And she gives him a shot of the truth serum, and he's mouthing off to her, so she gives him a second shot. And it turns out that it actually works. Like, he cannot. She's like, who's your contact in the fifth column? And like I was watching it and like he's trying not to. Martin's there. He's trying not to look at Martin, but then at one point he does
good.
like the eyes up to Martin.
Yeah.
It was really great, and
I like the eyes he gives him too. Credit to Mark Singer. The eyes he gives him to Martin is like, Martin, I'm going to say your name.
Yeah, I'm really
like
sorry.
You could
dude.
see in his face. He's
yeah.
like, I can't not say it.
Yeah, no,
like it's a really good bit. Yeah.
So he says Martin. And that's when all hell breaks loose, and we have a shootout to get out of there. Martin takes Mike. Mike is kind of in a fucking state because he's so fucking drugged up, and so Martin goes and takes him into the vents. He leaves the vent open. Really makes it.
Yeah, he should have closed it.
Yeah. Down on Earth, Robin's water breaks and it's all green. I really like that a lot. I really liked it a bunch.
I like that it's such a good play because it's all in one shot. Like they're standing there and then she walks off and Juliet and Harmony are talking. And then they hear Robin cry and the camera spins and you can see the green water and whatnot. That that was there.
Yeah.
The water was there.
She went to her
but
spot.
Also somebody was like, oh, put water on her sock as well. I was like, that's a good little trick there. Like, that's a nice touch.
So it turns out she's going to have to get a C-section. She cannot give birth the regular way because of the nature of this baby. Up on the visitor ship, Mike is in the vents with Martin, and Martin tells him the vent system is as big as the New York City subway.
Yep.
And then Mike's like, hey, I'm so sorry. I ratted you out. And Martin's like, no biggie, bro. It's going to happen eventually anyway.
The way he says it, though, he's like, hey, man, sorry about that. Like, he's almost like, oh, dude, I drank your last beer. I'm sorry, dude.
It's pretty low key. Although I keep thinking about Mike saying, I have to sit down, and he's full of truth serum, so he really has to sit. He really has to sit down. Like he cannot lie. But yeah, the truth serum doesn't allow him to create a better apology.
No.
Because he doesn't have it in him. So.
He's not really like he's sorry, but sorry, not sorry, if you will.
Down on Earth, the C-section begins. This is when Robin's dad reveals that he's a surgeon and shit. Like, it's like crazy. Like, it's just nuts, like what he's doing.
This is when we have my favorite shot in the episode where the camera pans up over the curtain. And it's the sense of like they didn't want the cameraman in there because it's a private moment. And they were like, well, we got to film it. So Julie opens up the belly and pulls out the baby, and it's a regular human-looking baby. It turns out. I thought it was a little offensive that Robin says, "Is it normal looking?" Yeah.
I thought it was offensive. Willie's right there. I think that she could have said human. I think would have been the kinder.
I mean, I don't think she's all drugged up. They just cut her stomach open. I'm not going to really hold it against her that she said, "Is it normal looking?"
The thing
also,
is,
it's Robin. Like
that's the thing. I don't like Robin. Robin sucks. So I'm gonna hold her. I'm gonna take her to task for it. I would be more forgiving with somebody else.
I mean, I would definitely, if I was Robin, I would like to think I'd be like, I get why Willie's in here, 100%. Why is Harmony in here? She runs a food truck.
Yeah, I mean, but I think when you're in the Resistance, like you kind of like just get people like to help out with stuff, and I think that having that nurse there, Willie's there for the visitor birth of it, like that he's been through births, and if something different happens,
I fully understand why Willie's there, 100%.
But I think Harmony is there because like you need a nurse, like somebody's got to hand you the shit, right? Because you can't keep touching things, like to stay sterile. Dad is also not able.
But she's not doing any of that. She's just standing there because the priest is there to hand stuff.
Oh, that's right. The priest is doing it. Maybe she's just there to help Willie. In
case Willie says the wrong words because he doesn't know English well enough. She seems to be able to understand them better.
So they give the baby to Robin, and she's like, "Oh, it's beautiful." And then we cut to a.
The human baby gets a lizard tongue. Goes.
I know. I'm trying to say that. We cut to a fundamentally fake-looking little baby that has a lizard tongue come out of it, and Robin starts screaming, so they have to knock her out. And then Julie's like, "Wait, it's twins." And she backs up horrified, and the lizard baby comes out of her stomach. It crawls out on its own, and again, it's a puppet. It is such a fucking puppet, and it looks around and goes.
I mean, it is like so cheap looking.
It's so cheap looking. It's so. The thing is, it's like it's kind of not well sculpted. It's like
It's
too
not well sculpted.
cartoony. It's too cartoony.
It's too cartoony, and they did not fill it enough. So like the head is a little pushed in on one side.
Well, babies' heads are soft.
Yes, but like you can tell it's because of the person's hand that's moving the mouth. You know, like it's just not well done.
I have seen that baby with my own two eyes. It's the Hollywood Museum here in Hollywood, California. I highly recommend it. It is down the street from the Hollywood and Highland Center, which is where the Kodak Theater is, which is where they do the Oscars. And the Hollywood Museum is got really amazing stuff. It's like got weird stuff. And they have a whole floor of like weird sci-fi stuff. And they have a whole V display, including the lizard baby.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. They have Pee Wee Herman's bike. They got a lot of really great stuff.
Back.
They had a whole display of Roddy McDowell's bathroom.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
With all the was he had autographs in there or photos? I can't remember.
Yeah, he had photos and stuff, but it's like so weird to see like that they've recreated a bathroom in the middle of a museum. Like it's like freestanding. It's very strange.
It definitely feels like a weird like Austin Powers type joke where they're walking through a museum and it'd be like, you know, like, oh, this is George Washington's cane, Benjamin Franklin's, writing desk, John Adams' shitter.
Well,
that kind of joke to it.
I think I've mentioned this before. You can visit Ben Franklin's toilet in Philadelphia. Yes. I have done that. I have gone to Ben Franklin's toilet.
But like the toilet isn't what they're pushing. It's like this is his house. Not just like this is where he pooped.
The toilet is the only original part of the house.
Yes.
And it's just a hole in the ground. But like it's like lined with like bricks.
Which is why it's the only original.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, the lizard baby comes out. Full credit to the editor because he freeze frames when the baby's looking right at the camera. Yes. And that's when the to be continued pops up over his face. And yeah, it's funny. For people who are watching this for the first time in the year 2026, it's really important that you understand that when this came out, the idea of a baby crawling out of its mother's stomach on NBC was like insane. Like it was.
I mean, the concept
nuts.
Is bonkers.
Yeah.
It's just the execution's not that good.
Yeah, and so it's very silly, especially with modern eyes. I mean, I think it was probably silly back then, but we were kids, so we were like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, just holy crap!
Holy shit!
Lizard baby!
A lizard baby crawling out of her stomach. Yeah. But it is very fucking silly. But I think the thing is, like, this kind of bad puppet with like a not very good sculpt is just so charming.
Yeah.
That I don't really care that it doesn't look good. I would prefer that it looked charming because I think like when you watch stuff that has like early CGI, none of that shit's charming. It looks like shit. And but this is like cute. Like there's something about it that's like funny. And then the idea that everybody had to be in the room with it and like everybody had to pretend that they thought it looked good because they didn't want to hurt the guy's feelings. You know what I mean? The guy comes in. And he's like, boy, I spent the last 2 weeks night and day making this thing. And everybody's like, oh.
The reality is they woke up that morning and he was like, oh, shit, Greg, we forgot to make the baby. Go down to Sunset. There's that costume shop. See if they have any like lizard baby puppets. And we'll just use that. And he was like, oh, good news. They did. It was like 3 for $10. So I brought 3 different ones. Which is the best looking one?
It is really is fucking cheap looking. Like it's crazy how cheap looking it is. Yeah. It's nuts. But I love it.
I mean, it is. You brought up MST earlier. It is MST they made as for a sketch in an episode quality. Yes. You know, like that DIY feel to it. Yeah.
I love it though. I love it. And if somebody were to sell that doll, I would buy it.
Oh, I would buy that in a second. I would have that in my home without a doubt.
Like a screen accurate V baby, 100%. I would buy that. Yeah. And that's the end of episode 2. What'd you think of this one?
Not unlike the last one. It meanders a lot. There's there's a lot of back and forth, but this one has the added bonus of things happening off screen that they don't tell us about or show us that seem more interesting, like Willie having surgery. So that's fun. I will never get over. I've never noticed before Elias sleeping in that scene. I never noticed that before, and I could not stop laughing when I realized that he does not move the whole scene. It's not a long scene. It's like maybe a minute, but like he is just not moving. And I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. And also Mike Donovan not being able to get his little hoodie on properly made me laugh very, very hard. There's stuff I really like. This Ruby's death is an amazing scene.
Yeah.
Undeniably great scene. Like, that's the kind of scene that I wonder if that's taken from something real.
Yeah, it could be.
You know?
I mean, I don't know off the top of my head, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's like a thing from a novel or real life or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that was a really, really powerful scene. I thought that was really, really well done.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's not as good as the first miniseries. It just isn't. And there's not enough like time on other characters.
Yeah.
You know, it's the Julie and Mike show, and that's it. And that's
Ham now is like sort of a main character
Ham now,
too.
yeah.
I think the thing is, when Kenneth Johnson did the first miniseries, he did it like a novel. And so it had these interweaving storylines, but this is a TV show. Like, it's just written like a TV show. And that means that you have to have your lead. He has to be the action guy. Everybody else has to support him. They can have a line here or there. But when Kenneth Johnson was doing it, it was this sweeping epic where all these characters had their own things going on. And he was looking at different aspects of the invasion through different characters' eyes. But the people who took over for him just don't have that sensibility. No. And they just made a fucking TV show. And it, in fact, feels like episodes of a TV show jammed together. Like, we have two different sneak attacks. They feel like different episodes. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like different episodes of a TV show. So yeah, it has good bits. It is going too hard on our guys are getting captured and up on the alien ship. I'm really tired of it at this point. And yeah, I miss all the side characters. Like, I really miss some of my favorite characters were the side characters.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, Mike Donovan is not my favorite character.
No.
And so I would like to know more about these people and what they're up to and what they're doing.
I mean, it's funny because like even like I would think, and we've discussed this before, of whether or not the people doing V the Final Battle watch V, which is very questionable because of Mr. Maxwell, who has every position possible. But like I would think having with the first one be like, hey, the guy who played Elias, that monologue, he nailed it. We need to give him things to do.
I'm just going to say it's racism.
I don't know.
I'm just going to say that it's racism. I'm just going to say that
I don't think it is.
But like, why would you sideline that guy?
I think because I do see a problem where in the first miniseries, it's all of them coming together. And now you have a miniseries like, okay, they're all together. So it's harder to break into separate stories in some ways.
I don't think it is. I think you could.
It's not really, but you know, like budgetary, maybe it's tougher. Like, oh, we only have so much time and blah, blah, blah. Like they had to get this done in a year, right? Like this came out a year later.
So they had to turn this around really fast.
They had to turn it around real quick. So like, we got to focus, boom, boom, boom. You know, we have I don't know how many shooting days they had. Like, you know,
6 hours. They must have had a pretty good schedule, I would assume, but I don't know.
But again, it still has to be done in less than a year, essentially. Right. So they got to move quick. And so I don't know like how all that works into figuring out the stories for the characters and stuff. Cause I feel like, you know, if I was doing this and they were like, you got the time to really put it together and you're trying to follow the format of the first one of the things I would do is like, we're going to spend more time with Martin and the fifth columnist and get to know their part of the story. Right. Cause we don't really ever learn about them that much. You know, and I think that could be interesting, you know, and that's how you can keep going back to the ship instead of like they caught Julie. Now they caught Mike. Now they caught Bill. Like,
well, I think that you can keep going back to the ship because I think that the interpersonal drama between Diana and everybody else who's like hates her and shit like that. That's that's fine. Like I could watch that. That's great. I like that kind of stuff. It's just they want to have the heroes on the ship all the time. That's the thing. They want to have the heroes up there all the time.
But that's what I'm saying is you can build up Martin as one of the heroes, right? Like do that instead of bringing in like, you know, Ursa or Pamela, whatever her name is, and like just introduce another villain like halfway through your 3-part miniseries. Like, what are you doing? Like, why? Why are you bringing in this other person?
I got to tell you why. I'm pretty sure why.
I mean, yes, you're right.
But also,
the Alice of it.
The other thing is that they were thinking, if this does as well as the first one, this is actually not the final battle. And it did turn into a TV show. And so they needed to kill somebody who was in charge, but they didn't want to kill Diana.
No.
because Diana is really an iconic
Yeah.
villain.
Yeah.
So
and
you
then in the
need to-
TV show, they were like, "Well,
She's
get
in
Sybil Danning." So it's Sybil Danning who's arguing with Diana all the time.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. I think that's the reason why they brought her in. That's why. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
one of a number of reasons.
Yeah.
They needed to have somebody who was big to kill to give a satisfactory ending.
Kill Jonathan. Red John's out there. You ripped off his face in the first episode. You kill him in
Yeah,
the
but
third.
John has never been like super evil. I don't think it would really hit. Like we
Yeah.
haven't seen John do shit. Like that's the thing.
That's
John,
true.
Like as soon as she shows up and she's got like her outfit down so you can see the top of her boobs and she's like sassing Diana, you get this character. You get that
Yeah.
she's like a sassy, dangerous character. John's just like a dipshit kind of. And
It
so
would be funny if John has no idea that they're taking all these people and stuff. He's like, "Bro, I didn't know. I thought we were cool."
I thought we were doing the actual thing. So I think that's why I think John doesn't really work as like the big final villain. But you need a big final villain, and you don't want to kill off Diana because you might want to be able to use her again.
Yeah.
So that I think is a big piece of it. And then again, like I said earlier, like to have two hot ladies arguing and fighting and cat fighting is like TV gold in the 80s.
Sure.
So, but yeah,
They introduced her in the first episode. It's just so weird to wait so long.
I actually don't mind that because I think that in terms of the story, you have the first episode where we see that the Resistance is sort of getting on its feet, like a lot more, because it did jack shit in the first miniseries. And the Resistance is getting on its feet a little bit more in the first episode of the second miniseries, and then she comes because the Resistance is actually creating a problem. So I think that's because they do unmask John on TV, and even though like they claim it wasn't real, it still definitely has an impact, right? So that's the kind of thing that you can imagine the Home Office being like, "Fuck," So I kind of like that. I kind of like that it comes on the heels. Like they did a good thing, and then that means that one of the managers have to show up now.
Sure. All right.
So that works for me in terms of escalation. But it's just not as good as the first one. I also think that this is TV thinking here I'm doing right now. This is not like good story. This is TV story. Is that Elias could take the role of the dad in helping out with the surgeries, because all you have to have him say is, my brother never thought I was that smart, but all those medical books that he was bringing home, I read them.
Yeah.
So I understand some of this stuff. You can teach me the rest. And so Elias could have a bigger role. The thing is that the dad shouldn't be in the show anymore. He should be executed. And
he should have died at the end of the first miniseries.
they didn't want to leave the kids as orphans.
Yeah.
Is the thing. But I just feel like every time he
They killed him,
shows
leave
up,
the mom alive.
I think that they didn't really cast an actress that they were that excited about because she barely did anything. I just feel like he should not be in this. Like it's just like after what he did in the first miniseries, you just and nobody talks about it. Nobody's ever said a fucking word to him about it. Nobody's ever yelled at him. Like when they're talking about Julie like being trustworthy, that's a good time for him to be like, well, you know what I did. But like, people can get better and do better, like, like that kind of thing. But they don't even do that. Like, but maybe it's one of those things where they're having an argument about like whether or not Julie's trustworthy, and everybody's like kind of uncomfortable because he's in the room.
Also, I guess
"Ugh."
there could be an argument. How many people know what he did?
The people who run the shit know because he told them.
Julie knows for sure. But I don't know how many other people know.
Everybody who was at that battle and saw him get into a Jeep and drive away,
Yeah.
and then found him there when they got there, is going to be able to put two and two together in some level.
Yeah.
That he found something out,
It would be funny if Julie's the only one that knows, and the reason that he is everything is because she's like, from now on, whatever I need you to do, you're fucking doing it.
Yeah, you're
I guess I'm a doctor. I guess I'm like,
you're my fucking dog from now on.
Yeah.
I need my fucking boots cleaned. You're on it.
You're on it.
So, but anyway, the other thing about this second miniseries that I really do appreciate is that they are willing to kill characters.
Yes.
And I do appreciate that. But they're only able to do that because the first miniseries gave them characters. And they made characters. So when Ruby dies, this is a character you've seen. Like you feel
the death of Ruby, your connection to her comes from the first one and her relationship with Abraham and like all that kind of stuff. Like it's really important to it. Where the cop, I think, because it's not even the same actor, there's a loss of connection there.
Do you really think anybody would have noticed it's a different actor?
I notice.
I didn't notice. I didn't notice. I mean, it's just a guy. Like, we don't even know the guy's name. Like other characters, we know their names. We have no fucking clue what that guy's name is. And they only gave them enough scenes to make his death, quote unquote, meaningful. But even the fact that he was in the first miniseries, though, does give it a sense of like, oh, this is a character who's been around. So the idea that it isn't just the new guy got killed. It's like,
and in the first miniseries, we see him and Elias together a bunch. So like here when Elias, and they're kind of, they start off kind of as adversaries because it's the cop and the crook.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the first miniseries, we see them hanging out together, and like now they're buddies. And then in this one, brings them the coffee. Like there's good bits like that, but like I don't know.
It's just not enough. And I
do like that Ham knows that he's a cop instantly. That he calls him Piggy right away.
I did like that a lot. Yeah, I mean, there's good stuff. The problem is this is 6 hours, so like you have the time.
Yeah,
that's the first one was 4 hours, and they did a lot more character work, and I think was a lot better. They're just trying to put a lot of fucking action in it. So
yeah, they're putting a lot of action into it. You know, they're definitely doing that, and then they're just not. I think maybe one thing that would help out, budgetary, I would think. Don't have them change bases 3 times. Maybe each episode they don't need a new base.
Well, I think that all these different bases after the first base, I think, are just the same place, more or less. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think they're just shooting different angles. These movie ranches are big.
I mean, so those trains are definitely trains.
No, I know, but those exist someplace. They just shot a place that had them. Do you know what I mean? Like, they found a place that had them. Like, the location scouts like, oh, this place over here, we know that they have train cars and people use it for shooting or whatever. Like, there's like a subway set in New York City that people, when they're doing subway movies, that has subway scene in it, they just use this. It's just always the same thing.
Yeah, there's the one Air Force One set. Right. Yeah.
That everybody uses. So that's what those are. Those are just train sets that everybody uses. Anyway. All right, we'll be back again next week with the finale of V, the Final Battle. We'll see how our plucky band of resistance fighters manage to conquer the alien invasion, or not so much that they can't have a TV series that follows, which we will not be watching because it is awful.
It's got Sybil Danning in it. I think this is everything.
I mean, Sybil Danning is really great. I follow her on Facebook, and whenever anything happens in the world, she always finds a way to connect it to herself. Yeah. It's so fucking great. She'll be like bombing Saudi Arabia, and she'll be like, well, in this movie, I played a woman who had been to Saudi Arabia. And then she'll post a picture from the movie. And it's like always like totally weird and tangential, but she always finds a way. You got to respect that. You got to respect that. So anyway, we're back again with the finale of V, the Final Battle. If you're listening to this on the free feed, feel free to come join us over at the Patreon, www.patreon.com/cinemasanga,
especially
SANGHA.
Not for nothing, but if you want to see the pictures of Mike Donovan not being able to wear his hood properly, or Elias sleeping through a scene.
Oh, those are going to be on the free
feed. You're going to have to
go
to the Patreon. Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, the same show notes are on both.
All right.
And also we have our Star Wars show, The Bad Batch. We're going to be doing Maul Shadow Lord over there pretty soon. And then if you go up to the $7 level, we do a monthly podcast called Watchmen, where we watch movies and go long on them. It's usually superhero movies, but this month, in honor of Easter, we're doing a movie called Black Easter, a.k.a. Assassin AD 33, about a group of terrorists that go back in time to kill Jesus Christ before he is crucified, and it is a Christian movie. So
and it is awesome.
It's really good
for about 20 minutes, and then it gets real bad.
We'll be talking about that. And also, if you're just listening to this, come to the YouTube and CinemaSanga and give us a like and a subscribe. It really helps. Helps get our bullshit in front of more people. Unless you feel like you want to protect people from
the same with whatever podcast app you're listening to this. If you're just listening, don't be afraid to give it 5 stars and write a review, and that helps us out.
That's exactly correct. All right, we'll see you guys again next week. Until then, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, may you be well, and we will see you across the Omniverse.